Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Spawncast episode 352. A good one tonight, I think. We actually have a guest tonight who's filling in for Sean. So Sean technically owes her one because he really wanted to watch the Royal Rumble. So feel free to judge him online over that. But we also have Josie, who will be making her entrance probably in the next 10 minutes or so. She's running a little late. She has to tell us, along with the MVG, about Tekken 8. So we'll be discussing that. But let me go to our guest here. We have Celia joining us once again. Been on a couple times now, so it's good to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
You really wanted to talk about the Palworld stuff. You mentioned that and some of the other topics. So should be good. Should be good discussions tonight. We have of course OJ who's holding up the pre-show. OJ, how we doing?
Doing good. I've put 30 plus hours into Palworld too, so I think it'll be fun to talk about.
All right, good. So you played it too. All right, good.
Yeah,
I don't know. A lot of people have played it. a lot of people talk about it. I haven't seen as many people play who have played it.
Considering how much it's sold, it's interesting. But yeah, like I put a ton of time into it.
Okay, good. We have MVG over here who's rolling through Tekken right now. So
hello. I've put 0 hours into Palworld, and I plan on keeping it that way.
It's on Game Pass. You just download it.
I saw that you muted it, and I was like, yeah, I think I need to do that too. I like the game, and I had to mute it on Twitter.
I muted it, and I didn't even see the Pokemon Company's announcement until someone else linked it to me secondhand. So that mute thing works well on X. I like it.
It does. Yeah, just make sure you also mute Palworld up comma.
Yep, I did that, and Palword, because that was another one that was trending. I muted all of those, and I'm doing good.
Also, anytime you see an ad pop up, just block it using the drop down. You'll stop seeing ads. It's great.
I do that too.
Yeah.
The misspellings. Let's see. We got Josie who just popped in.
Hello, I'm happy to be here.
Good to have Josie here. She's playing Tekken as well. So yes. I got to hear about this new Tekken game because apparently it's it right now. So
it's excellent. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then we have Evan, of course.
Yep.
Also can't get him to play Palworld, which is weird because it feels like an Evan game.
It's really not.
It doesn't.
Okay. But you, Evan, you like Valheim.
Yeah, but it's a whole different game. And I'm still waiting for them to drop Ashlands, which they showed trailer for, so that should be pretty good.
Did you play Ark Survival Evolved?
For like a day.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that you're basically just okay. This is a lot of
when we get to the Palworld is almost barely a game. Like there's so many things that makes it we'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But now that I have Josie and MVG here, if you guys wanted to hit us with your Tekken 8 thoughts while I pull up some of the network member list, you guys can go ahead and do that. Tekken 8's out now, 90 on Metacritic, highest rated in the franchise, I believe.
No, not the highest.
No, it's not.
7 was really high.
Yeah. No, I think that's Tekken Tag. Tekken Tag, or was it Tekken 3?
Like a
Tekken
Dragon
3 is probably the highest one.
Is the highest rated in the franchise for that. So I got this mixed up. Tekken 8 though, 90 on Metacritic, very very strong reviews across the board. Ton of content apparently here from what people are saying. So what are the thoughts? Josie, you got a code for it. You played early. MG got a code for it.
Real quick, John. Tekken 3 has a 96. So yeah.
Okay. Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
Tekken 3 is fantastic on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah. PS1. Tekken 3.
It's a killer app on the PS1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love Tekken 8 though. I mean, I'm having a good time with it. I'm mostly playing the story mode right now. I haven't really done a lot of other stuff, but the story mode's a lot of fun. It's everything you would expect from a Tekken story mode, and it's just carries on the story, from Tekken 7 that it's gone all the way up from now. And
can I ask you, is it like a standard arcade story mode where you do a fight, there's a cutscene, you do a fight, there's a cutscene, or is there like a map that you go around? Anything that they've added in there? Or
there is a map. There's like a thing that you select at points. It's mostly a traditional story though. I mean, it follows most of what Tekken's been doing. There's also another single player mode called arcade mode, and those are both, I think, really good, especially if you are not super familiar with Tekken. Like if you're trying to jump into it now, I think that it's very beneficial to check out those modes and learn the ropes of it. I've also been playing almost exclusively with special controls right now, which I know is kind of lame of me, but they've been really fun. And it's like a really good way to test out a lot of characters and see who you like. And the special controls are basically, they're the
Training
same.
wheels. Yeah.
Yeah, they are pretty much. But it's like how Street Fighter has those modes. It's just accessibility and stuff. So lets you do some cool moves earlier than you probably would be able to pull them off normally. And I'm having a great time.
Okay. It's so mostly single player right now. Is that what you're doing, MVG?
I've done a little bit of everything. I've kind of just gone into every kind of facet of the game and kind of given it a little try. So I started with story mode, and I like it a lot, but I was like, I want to check out like the arcade mode. So I hopped into that, and I really got addicted to that. So I'm playing that right now, and that's a lot of fun. And then I was like, I think I'm good now where I'm going to jump online and start trying to battle some people in ranked matches. I played 3 matches, I lost 2, and I won 1. So I won
one already.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I've kind of just been dabbling with all the different modes in the game and all the different characters, trying to like it. I've been playing Tekken since like Tekken 2 on the PS1, right? I've been playing Tekken for a long time. But I haven't been playing Tekken recently, probably for about 10 years, to be honest. So, there's definitely a learning curve to get back into that game and relearn how the fighting system works. The great thing about the game for me is not only is the, there is kind of the 2 different control methods, for the kind of traditional old school fighters that, they know what to play. And then there's kind of the new modes as well. I think there's definitely a room for both, but the cool part about it is it still feels like Tekken, like old school Tekken to me. Like it doesn't feel like they've strayed away from what makes Tekken so amazing. So it really just feels so natural picking it up and playing another Tekken game all these years later. So I'm really enjoying it. I think it deserves its 90. I think it's a great game. There's so much content in this game, and I'm trying to discover all of it, right? But there is a lot here, and it's going to take a while to kind of get through a bunch of stuff. But ultimately, I think I'm just going to settle on, just fighting people online and just doing, quick matches or ranked matches. But overall, great package. I recommend it. If you like Tekken in the day and you haven't really jumped in for a couple of years or whatever, give it a try. It's really, really awesome.
MVG, have you?
Game?
Go ahead, Josie. Sorry.
I was just gonna ask, have you checked out the ghost fighting mode? That one's epic.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen that one yet. I will check it out though.
So if you lose to somebody, like when you're playing them online, you can fight the computerized avatar of it. Yeah, basically again, and figure out what you did wrong, which I think is super cool.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't tried that, but that's something I'll definitely check out.
Interesting. Are there a lot of things to unlock in the game?
There is. Every time you win a match, or you complete a stage or something, you'll get like a bunch of fight money and a bunch of unlocks. Dude, I don't know how much content's in this game, and I only have the base version, and I know there's like the deluxe version that has more content, and there's like another one that has even more content. There is so much in this game, and you can customize your fighters and all that stuff. There's a lot here. So yeah, it's something that if you like fighting games, if you like Tekken, you'll be invested in this for a while. It's really good.
Yeah, and we're getting DLC in the spring with Eddie Gordo. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the last one is that. Go ahead, OJ.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I think the last one I really played was Tekken 6, and that was feels like it was ages ago at this point. I think it was on the 360 I played that.
Yeah, I played Dark Resurrection a lot on the PS3 when that came out. I do like the online play is probably one of the most impressive things about Tekken. It's the netcode is incredibly
dude, it's
good
so
from
smooth.
what I've seen. It's super smooth. MVG, what you were talking about with how good it feels to play, I think the thing about Tekken that's always made it kind of stand out is that for a 3D fighter, it's always felt like it has like this sleekness to it, right? Like this smoothness to the controls when you play. It doesn't feel blocky. Like Mortal Kombat feels a bit stiff, right? Like when you play Mortal Kombat, even Street Fighter feels a bit stiff at times. Tekken has always had this have this super smooth feeling like when you play it, that it just is just different from the other fighting games. So it still retains that, which is awesome. And it's been like that for a long time for Tekken. Like even like the PS1 days, it's felt like that for a 3D fighter. So I think that's what's the best thing with the online play. I've been watching people play online. It's been incredible. Nobody's really complaining too much about lag or issues. I mean, there's some things with people with dookie connections, but for the most part, if you got a decent connection, man, I mean, it's a great online experience.
Does the input delay feel good? Because I know with the last round of games that came out, including Tekken for fighting, like almost every company made the delay terrible and then tried to tell everyone it was fine. And then
it feels good. There are a couple of times where I was like, I'm pretty sure I connected earlier than I thought I did, but for the most part, it feels pretty smooth. Go ahead.
Use the rollback, right? You use the rollback netcode over.
Well, yeah, that's the netcode. But I know Tekken did it, Street Fighter did it. They made the input delay bad, but then told everyone it was fine because it's simulated online. Then everyone just yelled at them.
The other thing it does, and I haven't played like Street Fighter 6 online, so actually I've played a few matches online, but I don't remember this ever in Street Fighter 6. But in this, before you jump online and you get into a ranked match, what it does, optionally, you can get into a match with a computer, and it basically, depending on how good you are against like a pretty high level like computer opponent, it will then determine what your rank is when you first start an online game, if that makes sense. So rather than you starting at 0 and getting your ass kicked like 15 times, it kind of ranks you like before you get into your first match. So it kind of evens you out with some fairly good opponents that are your skill level. It's not perfect, but I think it's a really interesting way to kind of gauge, what your skill level is before you kind of get online and face some killers and get absolutely bodied.
Yeah, Street Fighter does like rank. It's like ranking. Like you'll do a bunch of matches and then you'll get like your status after you've done like the test matches.
And then the reason when they ask you where to start, which that's super easy to smurf because you can just say nothing and then annihilate a bunch of
That's the thing. You can smurf in Tekken. I mean, you can smurf in anything, but that's gonna happen.
I was kicking the shit out of the computer. I was like, wait a minute, I should hold back and get my ass kicked so I can,
I picked
in Street Fighter. I picked the second lowest rank because I was like, I wonder how Sean plays these games, and just went through it like that.
But see, that's the great thing about Tekken. Like it's like playing chess, right? Like if you've seen the elites play Tekken, it's fucking incredible how they play the game. And for me, I'm just mashing buttons and trying to pull combos off and stuff. But the great part about Tekken is, for me, is that even though you're playing online and you're like getting your ass kicked, you always feel like you have a chance to recover and break out of it and then come back. And sometimes you do. Like sometimes you'll just string together these like 6, 7 combos and then get like the heat bonus off and stuff like that. And all of a sudden you're back in the match, right? And you got momentum on your side. So the way that they really have balanced it out, I think is really quite good. So I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the game.
3 rounds helps too. Like the fact that it's 3 rounds instead of 2 or just like 1. So it's pretty.
Who are you maining,
cool
MVG?
So I always used to play as Paul, typically, but I don't like Paul in this one. I don't know.
He feels heavy.
He feels very heavy, and Paul's. I mean, Paul seems like he's like got the Chris Redfield disease, where every time they put him in a new game, he gets like chunkier and chunkier, and it's like on roids and stuff. Like if you played Paul from like Tekken 2, he's like this like thin guy with a mohawk and stuff like that. So I'm actually playing, what's the coffee lady, Asuzina?
The new one, right?
Yeah, the new one. Yeah, she's awesome.
Cool.
Like she's like an MMA fighter. She's fast. So I'm like kind of maining her at the moment. But I'm also, experimenting with other characters. What are you playing as? What's your main?
I picked up Nina and I got pretty good with her right now, but I kind of move around a lot in Tekken, so I don't think I've found my main quite yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Visually speaking, the game looks good.
Beautiful. I think it's stunning.
Yeah, really good. Really good.
Graphics are incredible.
Is this like the big cornerstone, you think, for Evo?
I think so. I mean, this and Street Fighter 6 and Mortal Kombat 1. I mean, they'll be
Street Fighter, Capcom.
Yeah.
Pay that money. It'll be Street Fighter.
I mean, Tekken's always at Evo. It's like, the Tekken finals are pretty hype most of the time. But I mean, it's going to be Street Fighter 6, obviously.
It's good, though, that we finally got this, because Tekken is kind of, if you watch the last couple Evos and stuff, it's kind of like a lot of the same characters that people are using to fight against each other. And now that we have a whole new roster, we'll probably, bring in, and it's not going to be that old of a game, right, by the time. So people are still going to be figuring things out. The previous Tekken, people had already figured out everything, so we kind of already knew what to expect. But now that we have this new game, it's super cool watching people play. So it's hype.
What do you think, Evan? You gonna get in Tekken 8?
I've never been into Tekken. I've always preferred 2D fighters over 3D. It's the same. I have that same issue with them that I do with Mortal Kombat, which is when the fist kind of goes forward and then the person's over here and they still get hit. It's that like weird feeling. And I've always seen it in Tekken, and it kind of bothers me. It's just a personal thing, though.
The hit boxes kind of like the way that they are.
I love watching Tekken matches, but then when you got the guy doing like the uppercut, and then the person gets hit, and they're like 3 feet away from him already, but the hit happens, and I'm like, it makes me know that I need to learn that. Like I'm gonna have to sit there and power through and just make sure I got everything in my head before actually wanting to really get into it.
I want to go over to which Tekken 8 out now. Good reviews. People are happy with it, so check it out.
Check it out.
Yeah. I do want to go over to the Spawncast network and recognize some of the producers. We got Achievement, executive producer, John O, of course, Joshua Butts, Mr. Joby, William Hogue, and I'll put Trent A in there as one of the producers. And then our sponsor, who's been coming through, actually sponsoring for a few months now, The Game Orb. Make sure you check them out down in the description. Got a link to their YouTube. They're also on Twitch. They do all kinds of gameplay streams as well as explore different conventions and stuff. So check them out. Shout out to the Game Orb. I do want to go over, and I think MVG, you played through Death Stranding.
Mm-hmm.
I played through it. Evan played through it.
Death Stranding, yeah.
Okay, good. All right, good. So at least half of us. I don't know if Celia, you played Death Stranding at all or not, or if it wasn't your game.
Like an
I'm
hour.
gonna assume
It is
oh, okay, there we go.
not my thing.
No, okay. Well, the Death Stranding 2 title got revealed by D-Labs, but they also revealed a remaster that's coming to the PS5, and now it's kind of lining up, and people believe that there is a state of play that's probably happening in the next week or two. So probably either to close out January or to start up February. Death Stranding 2's title, which I don't think is going to be I don't think it's a spoiler, really. I feel like if people play enough of it, they would understand it. Like MVG is going to understand the title as soon as I read it. Same with Evan. Death Stranding 2 on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, still don't know what this game is exactly. Kojima probably working on a trailer, or has finished a trailer and submitted it. I feel like this is a game coming out this year. I think it's a 2024 release. And I feel like we're going to see a trailer and we're still not going to know what's happening. But I feel like it's not going to be a game where we deliver packages.
They already said it was like
different.
a departure in gameplay.
Yeah,
so,
I think it's very different. So that could be good or bad. I don't know. I always like unsure when they try to do these direct sequels, but the title, okay, on the beach. I curious if we're going around maybe destroying stuff rather than connecting stuff. And then the remaster, Until Dawn.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So
like
Until Dawn
game.
is getting a remaster. But
It's a good.
by the way,
a good game. It's a good
you
game.
know what I realized? I thought about this. It's from 2015. It's a 9-year-old game.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize that until I looked it up. I was like, wow, it really was that long ago? My gosh. So it's once it gets to that decade mark, I'm like, all right, I did fine. I mean, it's from last gen, but still, it technically works on the PS5 right now. But they're doing a movie, I believe, for Until Dawn. So I don't really know how that. I mean, it basically is a movie or series, so I guess it'll translate well enough. But we already have other games or other movies that are probably better. But either way, Death Stranding 2 title, Until Dawn, state of play, excitement. No. I feel like people have been waiting for Sony to do something, and now we're hearing about the state of play. So looking at their 2024, it's a lot of third-party games coming through. Third-party studios, I should say, coming through. I don't really see anyone excited for Helldivers too much, which is a shame. I'm gonna play it, but
it looks cool.
Can't get anyone else to play it.
No,
can't get anyone to play this game.
It looks cool. Like it looks like it's going to be a cool game. They had that stupid trailer with those voices, like that stupid fake voice acting or whatever that they were doing. But outside of that, it actually looks really good.
You want to hear a take, John?
Mm-hmm.
For the
All right,
holidays, I got a copy of Forspoken for like $20 or something, right?
Okay.
I really like Forspoken. What happened there? Like, I think it's not like a 90
I'm going to tell you as somebody who played it from launch.
But it was
bad at launch. They've patched it a bunch of times since then.
Exactly.
I haven't gone back to it, but I think it's better now because of it.
But the gameplay itself was always okay. It was just the dialogue,
the story delivery.
The story and dialogue was cringeworthy, and then also the performance wasn't necessarily great for this is a big PS5 game, kind of empty world, but the combat was always like, hey, this is one of the good things. It was just a lot of the stuff surrounding it. Patched it up, and actually it plays and looks better, runs better. Everything's better with it, not at this point. But at launch, I think it was justified. But yeah, I mean, I've played it since then too. I still think that there's some, things about it. But overall, especially for $20, it's a phenomenal game.
I'm into it.
I haven't gone back to it since then. And maybe I will, MVG, when I get a chance. Maybe I'll just fire it up again and see where we are. Because I think I played like 10 hours of it. The game's not long, so I think more than halfway through it then. But maybe I'll try to just see how the patches ran through it. So, but state of play, probably more, believe it or not, probably more third-party stuff. So we'll see in about 10 days, I think. We're expecting these announcements, according to D Labs, in the next 10 days, which tells me I think both of these are in a state of play. So more third-party stuff, most likely. Waiting for Sony to get the showcase going with the first-party stuff. That's what I'm looking for.
Do we not already have a Death Stranding PS5 edition?
We do.
Hey.
We do. Well, it's
We do.
with they have Death Stranding Director's Cut, where they moved that to the PS5. They added some additional content, and then they did stuff with visuals and frame rate and stuff. This is the sequel, Death Stranding 2, that we're going over.
Right, but
yeah.
Okay.
But you said that they're remastering Death Stranding for the PS5 or something. Did you say that before?
Remastering Until Dawn.
Oh, Until Dawn.
Okay.
Until Dawn is the
full
remaster in this cycle.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I was super confused. That makes sense.
Oh no, they both got kind of mixed up because I think D Labs discovered both of these, and I don't necessarily want to put out how D Labs gets their stuff, but I feel like they can view certain, I don't want to say retail listings, but inventories and certain media uploads online, and I feel like they've seen both of these, and they're assuming they're going to be announced in the next 2 weeks. Well, now 10 days since they put that out there. So there's an Until Dawn remaster that's getting announced. There's Death Stranding 2 with its title reveal and new trailer. And it's like, okay, where would both of these be for Sony at once? Probably a state of play. So yeah, I don't have any interest going back to Until Dawn. I wasn't as into it, I think, as other people when it came out 9 years ago, but there you go. Sony's a lot of remasters hitting right now. Death Stranding, though, weird game. I still recommend people at least attempt it. So, Celia, at least you tried it for an hour.
Yeah, I'm just not into the whole micromanaging, like every single thing. It just gave me anxiety. And like the whole delivery thing. Maybe if it's like he's delivering Uber Eats or whatever that version is.
He's door dashing.
I'll like it better. Yeah, like, I vibe with that. Steal a couple fries. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this one is going to be like this Death Stranding. The first one was more about bringing the world back together. And it was kind of more of a
world reconnecting.
Yeah. That was the idea, right? It was kind of more of a positive message at the end of it, really. I think this one's going to be much more negative. I feel like it's going to be more
should we have
like,
reconnected was the punchline.
Should we have reconnected? And now it's like, oh. Because apparently Kojima rewrote the entire thing during the pandemic. So he accidentally predicted the pandemic, and then he was like, oh, while it was all going on, and was like, let me rewrite this. So now he's probably predicted something else in the future. He keeps doing that with his games. So
we'll love that
I'm
for
curious
us.
what it is. Curious. Let's go to, we'll talk about Palworld now. Palworld is, I don't even know what to call it at this point. It's an online sensation. 8 million copies have sold so far on Steam. Like Steam alone. Apparently those are just Steam numbers is what they're sharing. 8 million copies. I guess they can track it in maybe more real time than they can on Xbox or something. But 8 million sales, and they've shown the concurrent player count has jumped over 2 million, which is the second highest we have on Steam to date. It's behind PUBG, which PUBG crossed the 3 million mark when it was going crazy. By the way, that game ended up selling how many copies before it was all done? It was a significant amount, wasn't it? PUBG. Yeah, I don't know if you have because if you look at just the best sold games of all time, it's on that list. So I know it's like some crazy number, which makes me think Palworld will probably climb to that neighborhood at some point. But as of now, 8 million copies sold. It's gone under a ton of arguing back and forth online. The Pokemon Company even released a statement around this thing and said that they're going to investigate, or at least they'll look into it more just to see, because there are some wild allegations getting thrown around for this thing. Celia, you were very interested in this. You were kind of excited when I showed you some of the topics. You're like, I can talk about that. Palworld. Okay.
Real quick though, for PUBG on Steam by 2020, it was 15 million, but there was 80 million was thrown around as a more recent number.
There you go. So I think Palworld's going to end up, when it's all said and done, some crazy numbers. Go ahead, Celia.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just really curious. Just like surrounding the whole controversy about the game. Obviously, everything is all alleged. It's people accusing on Twitter. Pokemon acknowledged it, but like the discourse that a lot of people have been having, like, oh, it was announced during the Game Awards, and if Nintendo or Pokemon Company could stop it, like they would have. But what I'm actually curious about is that okay, so when money is not involved, it's very easy for them just to cease and desist. But like, let's say that they actually did take assets from the game. There's no fair use or anything of the sort in Japan. That doesn't exist. So once, it's broken records, I'm really curious, like, if there is something, like, are they going to just black bag the whole company? Like, what would that look like? And like moving forward, what precedent would it show for people who heavily lean into inspired games? So like if there is something, it's gonna help. Like I feel like I guess my conspiracy is that it's gonna change how inspired games are, just for how much they can slam dunk it if there is any assets there.
Yeah, that okay. So that's Pocket Pair is the studio behind it. They did Craftopia. They did Nevergrave, which I think that's the game that people put next to Hollow Knight, if I'm not mistaken, and it looks really, really close when you put them side by side. So this studio certainly takes a lot of, we'll say, inspiration from other games to make their games. In that case, though, that is a good point. What if assets were pulled, like outright copied, as you're saying, and put into this, but it's already sold 8 million copies? Like, how does that work if they win and the game has to basically disappear? Do they go into people's libraries on Steam and take the game back?
No.
I feel like everyone would lose the license. So yeah, it would technically, I think people would get the refunds. Obviously, I can't speak for Steam or like any type of case what this is going on, so I'm just speculating. But yeah, everyone just get a little refund. What I'd be more curious about would be the minimum guarantee or whatever deal that Game Pass did with them.
Oh,
because this is tied into a lot more things. And like, let's say that like they did take the assets, like, their lawyers aren't dumb. So, okay, let them do all the sales because there's some real money there. So they would go for it everywhere. And then it'd be like losses, hurt to brand, everything. So I don't know what else would happen, but it would be a shit show.
Yeah, the number that have sold and the amount of money that's getting thrown around right now with this game is, I'm sure that's having Nintendo and the Pokemon Company like really notice. They've already had to issue a DMCA for a mod that just put Pokemon in the game, so they're definitely aware of this game outright even before they made that statement, obviously. But the fact that they made a statement, they didn't name Palworld, probably just because they didn't want to give them any recognition or press. But it was very clear they're talking about Palworld in that they were going to look into it and investigate. And I wonder how many emails they got about this thing, because based on social media, there's a lot of Twitter detectives out there.
I saw personally, like I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys saw it too, but I saw the people comparing the models. There is a PAL that literally looks exactly like Luxray, the Gen 4 Pokemon.
I know what they were saying. Recently they said though that the comparisons were slightly adjusted, but everything I've read about that is that they were just scaled, which literally just means you make something smaller or larger. But for some reason, because of that, everyone's like they faked it. But it's like if you just increase a 3D model's size and then make some adjustments to it, it's the same thing. Like I don't know. It's just weird.
So I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of Pokemon. Like I play a lot of different type of Pokemon games, like the Nexomon and the there's lots of stuff that's out there. This is by far the only one that I've played where I'm like, yo, this looks like exactly like or very close to so many of the different models, in terms of like I said, Luxray, there's other ones, there's like a penguin in it that's exactly like Piplup or so similar to Piplup and some of the other ones. And there's other games that are like that. So I mean, if they did steal them, that would suck, because I like Palworld, and I think that the this has like huge potential, right? Like to be such like a big game, because like I said before, like I mean I kind of alluded to, this is like barely a game right now. It's kind of just like a concept. There's just a bunch of empty areas, and you just run around and you just shoot things and collect treasure chests that do nothing, and you fight bosses, and like there's no dialogue. There's just little research journals. There's no like real, like after you beat a boss, nothing happens. Like they just, oh, you beat the boss, you got this thing, and like they just like kick you out of the place right there. There's no like there's not like a story set up with the bosses. So it's barely a game at this point. So I mean, it would suck if that happened. I don't think it will. You know, I don't think that they're going to take them down, or I don't think it's going to happen. But I mean, like I wouldn't want it to, because I think that there's so much potential in Palworld and how it plays. The only thing that I also want to add to is that this game's not like Pokemon. Like in terms of gameplay, it's not really like Pokemon. It's a crafting survival game. So I know there's a lot of comparisons, and I get that because of the looks. But gameplay wise, if you like Pokemon or you like the competitive battling of Pokemon, that is not going to be the same as this game. This game doesn't even have PvP right now. They're going to add it in later. Pokemon's always been about PvP from the very beginning, you know, and it was somewhat balanced for that. This game doesn't even have that right now. They're adding it, but it's not in right now. I mean, you attack as your own player, you level up your own stats as a player. It's a complete action RPG. There's a bunch of whole like base building and crafting and survival things that have nothing to do with how Pokemon operates or plays. So I think there's also that. Some people think it's like, oh, it's a direct, you know, type of Pokemon game, and it's like, no, not really when you play, you know, both games.
Right.
You know,
it's like you know what it kind of reminds me of the early days of Minecraft, when that was like, I mean, it was barely a game as well, and then it just evolved over time as they built on top of it. I kind of think that's what we're seeing here. Is they have a bunch of concepts they pulled from all these different games. Like people mentioned Ark, Pokemon. Zelda's in there, Elden Ring. It's weird. They have all these games. They mashed it together, and I should be like looking at this game and giving it a 4 out of 10 or something. Like it's so it's so obvious that it's like stuck together with popsicle sticks and Elmer's glue, but it's weird because it is fun. It is a fun game, and it's hard to describe to people why it's fun. And I think that's one of the other things people are having a hard time grasping with this game. It's like it shouldn't be as fun as it is, but it's a game that does a really good job, I think, with the carrot on a stick approach. Like where you're always working towards the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, getting stronger, building a base, catching more of these pals. And I feel like that's the big reason why people are basically just addicted to the game, and like that's why you see the concurrent player count so high. It's because it keeps pulling you along, and it does it pretty well. And it doesn't. The thing I don't like about survival games, and I don't know if it's just me, but when they get too focused in the weeds with some of the stuff, where you have to worry about, like, it's one thing to worry about if your character's hungry and you just eat something and it fills up a bar, but you worry about thirst as well, and then you worry about like your character gets sick or gets like the cold and starts sneezing because they're too cold, or like you get into all these little things around survival. I don't know. I just kind of zone out and stop.
Palworld has that too, though, with the pals.
Well, to where they're like your main character, like if you go off the edge of a cliff and it's 20 feet instead of 10 feet and you break your leg, you now have to go splint it and do all these other things to like, you don't run into any of that in the game that I've seen. Like when you get really detailed with some of that stuff, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't have that, but like, let's say like at your base, right? After some time, if you overwork your pals, they can get sick. They can have like some type of sickness, or they can like have like a minor injury. They can fracture their leg or like break their leg. Like there are varying levels, but it's not that bad because you can simply just switch them out with a different pal.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just switch them in.
Yeah, you just switch them out.
Can pals die?
Yes.
Yeah, you can butcher them.
I killed 4 of them today.
Yeah, you can butcher. There's an item that you can use to if you use that
like
item,
a meat cleaver.
Yeah, it's like a meat. It'll just butcher and they'll never come back.
You can also capture other trainers and do the same. Yeah.
And you can capture other. Yeah, you can capture other like MP. Like, for example, like one cool thing you can do is you can capture like a merchant and then just have the merchant at your base, so you always have like a traveling merchant like at your base. So it's pretty cool.
It is a really funny concept because you walk out in the field, the first thing you do, right, is you get a stick, and then you have this realization that to catch a pal, instead of just try to throw the sphere at it or whatever, you weaken it by just beating it over the head with a stick. So you just walk out there, and they're sheep too. It's like the little sheep type pals or whatever. You just walk out there and start clubbing them, and then you catch them that way. So it is quite violent, actually, when you really get down to it. But I mean, somebody's got to do it. So.
Somebody's gonna make like a bloody, gory version of Palworld, not like an actual separate game. They're like, hey, this is like the super M-rated version, like super like M-rated version of Palworld. Like, there's blood and gore because this game has no like blood or any type of even like in none of that. So somebody's gonna make something like that.
It definitely tries to skirt like the comedic aspect to it, where you, even though you're walking in with like a spiked baseball bat, it's like it has like the POW like effects and stuff. So it tries to be funny about it. And it's just ridiculous looking, because eventually you do get to the point where you have bazookas and machine guns and like your little pals. There's one ability on the tree that you unlock, and then you just hand like the little green monkey guy. You just hand it. You're just like, all right, cool, I unlocked it. Here's an AK-47. It's like, okay. So he walks around and stands guard with it.
What's his Tansy? I think that's what his name is. I'm trying to remember the name. Yeah, I think his name is Tansy. Tansy. Tansy has like an AK-47. Have you read his entry? Like his journal entry? It's freaking hilarious. It's like something like, yeah, they were all cool and everything until they learned how to use machine guns.
It's pretty funny. Yeah,
it's pretty like all the different like the lore behind it, it's somewhat interesting. But yeah, like other pals can have like rocket launchers. You can give them all sorts of stuff like based on like their ability, right? So it's pretty cool.
MVG, is this one of the few games that's released recently that makes you feel old?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is one of those games where I feel like it comes out and you're like, I don't get it.
Yeah. This game is just going to come and go, and I'm not going to understand anything about it. That's okay, because I got Tekken 8, so I'm good.
Tekken 8.
Tekken 8 is probably a better game. It's more of a game and it's a better game. This game is so strange. It just keeps compelling you to play, even though, like I said, it's bare bones. It's kind of, minimum, but like the base building stuff is cool. Like the like the way that you can breed in this game. There's eggs, like you can incubate them and like get new pals that way. So you can kind of like customize things to your liking. Plus also having like, it has like pretty okay, solid like shooting mechanics, like the shooting mechanics
better than they should be.
Yeah, the shooting mechanics feel pretty good, like dodging and all that. Like it kind of has like the Z targeting. Well, not quite Z targeting. No, I shouldn't say that. But it kind of has like you can like dodge in different directions. Yeah. So it's good. Like I think it's solid. Like I'm looking forward to seeing what the game is going to be like. Let's say 2 or 3 years from now. That's what's good.
Yeah, that's when I check in. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like MVG doesn't want to play it because what's that?
Oh, sorry. Have they given a timeline of when it would be like the full release?
They've given a
roadmap, but no
roadmap.
timeline.
No timeline, but there's a roadmap of what they're going to add. And also, the AI is absolutely moronic. Like the human AI, like the raids, they're really stupid. So they did say that they're going to fix that as like that's like one of their urgent things, because the AI in this game is just bad. It's just not very good AI at all. So a lot of the humans in the game are just stupid. When they try to raid your base, they can't even get up the cliff. They get stuck on things very easily. Like it just glitches out. So like, yeah, the raids are not challenging at all right now. Like when somebody raids your base, it doesn't matter. You can just grab your Fox Sparks and just turn it into a flamethrower and just kill them all in like one little go.
So
they need to fix
in their planned future updates, they PvP raid bosses for endgame content, Pal Arena, which is PvP for pals, and they mentioned crossplay and basically bringing the Xbox version up to parity with the PC version.
Which is actually kind of funny because unless they changed it recently, I heard that the Game Pass version on PC was running at a lower version number than the Steam version, so they couldn't even play with each other for a while there. I don't know if it's still going on that way.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how all that works between Steam and MVG is like what's the process to get things
certification,
not greenlit, but certified between Steam versus Xbox.
Not even Xbox. Game Pass on PC.
Game Pass.
So the difference is with Steam, once your game is approved on Steam, you can basically the developer can push updates anytime they want to. They can basically just push them out there. The difference is because it's PC Game Pass, it still has to go through Microsoft certification process for Xbox. So they have to submit patches, they have to get certified. There is a backlog of games they're currently in certification, so there's always a wait time. So that's probably why they're not in sync with each other.
Yeah. I played it on Xbox for about 3 hours or so, and I was just like, like it doesn't quite look like what they're showing. And then I bought it on PC. I bought it on Xbox. I bought it for $30 on Xbox, and then I bought it again on PC. The PC versions. Yeah, I bought it twice, but it's It was only $27 on PC.
Yeah, they discounted it again. Like it was down. It was already 30, and they discounted it down to like 27 or something.
So I mean, for me, I was just like, whatever. I want to try the game out. And yeah, the PC version is definitely like, it's actually got me playing games on my PC, which I never really do, but I've been playing it just only on PC, and it's much better on there for me at least.
Okay, says Palworld. MVG probably doesn't want to try because he's afraid he'll get addicted to it and play it all the time. So I understand MVG.
What?
I get it.
It's it's not my game. I'm an old boomer. I don't give a shit about Palworld, John. Come on.
You don't play Pokemon though. I'll give you that. Like it's not like you're like I play Pokemon all the time, and I'm not gonna play Palworld. So can't even get you. What was the last Pokemon game you played, MVG?
Oh fuck, I don't know.
You play Legends?
No, I didn't play Legends. I played Sword and Shield, and it was fine. That was the last game I played, I think.
Okay, I was thinking it was even before then. That's not bad. Sword and Shield. Okay.
Yeah, I tried Sword and I got caught up in the hype with that game. It was all right.
Yeah. Let's go over to let's talk about the Microsoft stuff that's happened here. They announced layoffs totaling 1,900 employees across their gaming division, and it's quite a few people. Like in terms of each division that was affected, Mike Ybarra, Blizzard president, is out. He's gone. I don't know what happened there. That
obviously he was redundant.
There's some kind of internal struggle or something. It sounded a little weird based on what was kind of mentioned on social media. I don't know. But with that, the internal Activision Blizzard customer support team is all laid off, according to Jez Corden. We also had Xbox departments for physical game publishing was consolidated or shut down. It sounded like they were taking less focus off of physical Xbox games technically being published. Sledgehammer Games lost 30% of its staff. Toys for Bob lost 30% of its staff. Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Raven, Solid State Studios, Beanox all had layoffs. So pretty much all the Call of Duty and Call of Duty support teams had some layoffs. It was not a great end of the week for Microsoft in terms of announcements for that. So it's a lot of questions there around that merger now, of course, coming up. Although I will say a lot of companies did grow very quickly over the last couple of years. Not great when you announce almost 2,000 people getting laid off and then your president at Blizzard just leaving.
Especially right after they bought Activision.
And they're worth $3 trillion.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's also to point out when they were closing the stock market that day, Microsoft did end up crossing over the 3 trillion mark.
Not enough money. Not enough redundancy. Redundant.
It's evil. Like I'm so mad for like fellow people in the industry. Like when they're doing the merger, everyone knows with mergers there's layoffs. Like it happens, but the level that they did, and even like in their internal teams. And physicals, like I understand physical purchases have gone down, but like the entire team, everyone, are they just saying lol JK on everything physical now? I don't know.
They're probably I think they mentioned they might outsource it now is the idea.
Maybe those people can form their own company outside of Microsoft and get the contract.
That does make me wonder about Microsoft's physical sales even more. We already kind of thought it might have been like a 85-15 split. I think Nate and I were talking about that at one point. But I do wonder if it's even like worse. Well, not worse, but like more digital favored than that. Then you hear that they are cutting down their publishing branch, and it's like, okay, that's a little strange. I don't know how it goes with limited run because even at times I noticed they don't even have Xbox versions of games, and it's like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
It depends. Depends on the partner we work with. It depends on the IP. Like Jurassic Park, for example, that came out on Xbox.
Yeah, MG's a limited run. That's right. Go ahead, MG.
It's Jurassic Park, right? But like other games may or may not see Xbox. It's really up to the partner as well. You know, they also dictate the revenue splits and all that stuff. So we try to get it on Xbox when we can, but in some situations it just doesn't make sense. Like we will lose money on the deal if we go commit to Xbox. So that's just the way it is.
This, by the way, 25 days into 2024, and there's been nearly 6,000 video game layoffs so far.
Jesus.
Just this year. And I think it'll probably get actually worse. So it's not going to get any better, I think.
Usually, like with layoffs, like when contracts end, it is usually through the January through March period. So, like with that said, in the extremes that we are having now, it's just gonna get. I feel like we're at a AAA crash, and like that's been a sentiment on Twitter that's been pretty present. So I don't know. I'm just really worried for the industry, and I'm so sad for everyone.
I'm a little confused at Microsoft's move with the Call of Duty studios in particular. I know Activision Blizzard and they merge in with Microsoft, and sure, when mergers happen, layoffs happen. We pretty much see that every time. I was a little surprised to see them shedding so many, seemingly so much staff from these studios, and it was brought up online, and I'm not sure about their sourcing necessarily, but there's concerns that Microsoft might move to their contracting strategy that they have with like 343 runs through this quite a bit, where they do contractors and they bring them in for a certain time, and then Microsoft does this across their company, where they don't want to necessarily have you full time as like a company employee, just as a contractor, and they do that in game development as well. And there's concerns that might be the strategy they take with Call of Duty, which I feel like would be a really bad idea. That's just me from the outside, because Call of Duty has to come out every single year, and it would be odd to keep cycling contractors for that kind of stuff at that level. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's a good idea.
Listen, this is, Celia, you're absolutely right. This is a very, very sad time in the industry right now. And honestly, as someone that does work for a company that is owned by Embracer, I literally every fucking day wonder if today's my last day, to be honest. I mean, I'm not sugarcoating it. Like, that's how bad things are. That's how bad developers feel right now. Like, they wake up in the morning, they go to work, and they think, is today my last day in this industry? That is a really, really dangerous and just horrible mental state to be in. But that's the reality of the situation. The thing that's really frustrating to me is that with this Microsoft thing, and I'm not picking on Microsoft specifically, but we are talking about them. There was obviously Riot Games as well that happened earlier this week, there was a lot of people from Riot Games also got let go. But I think overall as an industry, if the answer here is to make good games that sell, then why are entire teams being let go and not being assigned to other projects? Why isn't Microsoft assigning the Toys for Bob people the 30% and allocating them on other projects that they clearly have that they're working on right now? That's the part that I just don't understand. And the difficult thing that I really struggle with right now is, yes, last year was a fantastic year for video games themselves, right? We had some amazing quality games that came out last year. And we've already had some really good games that have started 2024. And there's going to be some great games that come out this year as well. But what you have to remember is all these games started development about 4, 5, 6 years ago. So I'm really, really worried what the future, the next, in 4 or 5 years from now, what the games landscape is going to look like, because we've had nothing but constant layoffs, and it's going to catch up with the industry. We're losing so many incredible future games that we don't even know about that are being canceled. And, it's just the thing right now is that the industry is all they are banking on is sure things like licensed IPs. Have you noticed that, we've got Indiana Jones, we've got Blade, we've got Insomniac. Apparently all they're doing right now is Marvel licensed games for the next 10 years. We've got Blade, all this to, attempt to grow profits once again. So I think it's really, really, it's a really, really unfortunate situation we're in. And honestly, John, I'm worried. Like, I think there is a bubble that is bursting right now with AAA games. I think it can't sustain itself. And this is one of the side effects of that. Unfortunately, human labor is the thing that always gets cut first, above and beyond anything else. And look, I am very, very curious to see how this year goes. I think things will get worse before they get better. I think things will get better eventually. Maybe in the second half or Q3 of this year, things will start to rise again. But right now, things are really, really bad. And I can't see an end to it, at least in the short term.
Echo more of what you said. Sorry, I'm just jumping in again. I've obviously a lot of personal feelings about this, but yeah, I feel like the games industry in general, we're mirroring the movie industry. You notice there's always like, oh, they're remaking this movie and this movie and this classic take, and it's 2, 3, 4. They're just serializing IPs. Because the video game industry is, it's gotten so expensive, they're not willing to take risks. So we're we're going to lose all innovation in games if it keeps on going this route. And with the layoffs that are happening, one thing that's it's going to happen. Okay, so layoffs happen occasionally, but since it's so many company and it's thousands of jobs, like Sega announced that they were hiring and it was 6 positions, and that's not going to band-aid all the people that are looking for work. And of those positions, if you look at the people that are laid off, there a lot of people are senior level. It's not like first in, first out. It's everybody. So desperate people that need work and need to feed their families and their livelihood are going to take lower paying jobs that would be in mid tier or maybe even like starting for the games. And so it's going to get rid of new talent that would have entered the gaming industry and really made a difference in the future. It's like a lot of the people that have been there for 20 years, how much longer are we going to work in the industry? We're older, it's like in 10 years after that, you're going to retire and there's going to be a weird gap. I'm just like really terrified of like what's going on because it's not just the immediate of everyone being, scared and losing their livelihood. It's what's going to happen in the next 10 years.
I agree. Yeah, it's really, really sad right now. Things will get better. I think they will. I really do believe that, but it's gonna get worse, I think, before it gets better overall.
I do wonder because if we see these many people like leaving from layoffs, do they try to find another job in gaming, or they just leave gaming? And like, do we just have a max exodus just talent?
Some people I know have left the industry. I don't know what the percentage is. I mean, people, if they work in the game industry, then they probably want to stay in there. But there are some people that I know that have left. And here's one thing I will say: if you are someone that like knows how to write code and stuff like that, then you can kind of move around, right? You don't have to work in the game industry. You can work like in the business sector. You can pretty much do anything as if you have, if you know how to write software, right? But there are others in the game industry that aren't so fortunate, where they have, specific, talent and specific like skills specifically designed for video game development. And they're the ones that really I feel for the most, because they're kind of stuck in this industry. And, right now, like, there are other companies that are hiring, but there's no mass hirings going on right now. Like, no one is like, wanting to hire a whole team of people for new projects. You don't really hear about new studios spinning up right now and hiring new talent. It's really just one of those situations where you really just have to make decisions, to take care of yourself, take care of your family, whether that means you stay in the industry or you get out, or you relocate or you move somewhere else. I don't know, but like, there are a lot of people that have been uprooted by layoffs, and yeah, look, it just sucks. I mean, it really is unfortunate.
Yeah, it seems like every week we just get an announcement for more layoffs. So you said, Celia, between January and March is when a lot of the contracts run up and stuff. So I guess we'll just see what happens in the coming weeks. But I'd like to think we start seeing less of this, but I don't know. I feel like we still have a few more of these announcements coming. So
do either like Celia or MVG, do you guys feel like AI has played any sort of a role in this?
It's hard for me to answer that, because we don't use AI where I work in really any capacity, but there are obviously studios that do use it, as part of their daily workflows, right? So I don't really have any firsthand experience to kind of formulate a real answer to that, because we don't use it at all. So yeah, I can't really say. Celia, do you have anything to add, or do you have any take on that?
I haven't heard anything through the grapevine. I feel like maybe in 5 years then it'd become a problem, but right now, like, I don't really think so.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. Do we think after seeing the entire, most of the division consolidated or shut down for Xbox physical games, does it kind of feel like we are on the basically on the edge of this stuff, just like for the physical games, retail and stuff, just going away? Like it, yeah. I still believe that the next generation for PlayStation and Xbox are just not going to have disk drives at all.
I disagree.
2026 to 2028. Okay.
I think PlayStation will, only because I know in Japan physical is still, very, very big, right? And Sony is a Japanese company, so I think Sony and Nintendo, they're going to be good for a while. Xbox, on the other hand, John, I think that adorably all digital leak that we saw with the mid-season Series X that didn't have a disc drive.
Got to work on that catchphrase.
All of a sudden, that is starting to feel quite real now, isn't it? A lot of people kind of said, this is probably just some spitballing. It's not up to date. But now that we look at this, the consolidation of their physical, department, and the fact that if you walk into a Target, like if you look at the Xbox section, it's literally, like 3 feet wide now. There's like not much, storefront. All signs point to they are going to go all digital.
Yeah,
it's happening.
There was no physical games at Best Buy with the exception of Nintendo Switch. I think there was a few PlayStation games, but there really wasn't anything. And the Best Buy in my area, it's a high performing one. It's not one of those like broke ass Best Buys, right? Where they're like it's a high performing one. So they're not gonna get rid of that one anytime soon. People go there and buy stuff. And there was like, so I'm just echoing what MVG saying. Like, it seems like physical for Xbox is definitely done, because I didn't see any physical games there at all. And I think the report that came out, I know you covered it too, John, and you guys maybe saw it, less than 10% of all the physical games sold in the US was Xbox platforms. So people aren't buying. Game Pass is essentially rooted out.
Yeah.
It feels like Microsoft's endgame is just to get an app on everything and try to get you to stream it all anyway.
And Microsoft doesn't, they don't print as many copies. Even like when they were trying to do like a couple of years, there's less copies of Xbox games when they do get printed. It's just physical just seems to be just dying on that. But I mean, I think one thing that I will say is that I think some people kind of overestimate how much it is on PlayStation. Yes, it's a lot on PlayStation, but 40% of all the physical game sales here in the US was on PlayStation for last year, 2023. So it was 50% plus, a little bit more for Nintendo and 40% for PlayStation. So that's still a significant amount. So I kind of do agree with MVG that, there's still millions upon millions upon millions of dollars in physical gaming for people, who want that. And, Sony, they've, with the circumstances, I know everything installs to your hard drive, but at least the game is fully on there. They didn't do like what Microsoft was doing with the whole, you download the Series X version of the game, right? So at least they have that for them. And I know it's getting a bit better with the recent Xbox games, but it seems like it's like too little too late, because now it's just kind of like there's not going to be physical copies of Xbox games. So I'm hoping that gets better, but I don't know. I think physicals, I think it's done for the next gen, at least for Xbox.
Yeah, if people are curious about what OJ is mentioning there, MVG has you have like 2 videos on it, right? One from the beginning of the Xbox Series generation when they first shipped games, and then one more recent that showed the difference to where you would put the Xbox One disc in basically, and then it would kick back a Series X version or S version you download.
It's the ones that have smart delivery on them.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't explain it very well, but you see the Xbox One and then the Xbox Series X, like you just get the Xbox One version, it just downloads. It downloads online, right? Whereas like Sony, it's the PS5 version is on that disc. Like if you buy PS5, it's the PS5 version. If you buy the PS4, it's the PS4 version. So
I didn't realize until you mentioned this, MVG, when we had the Baldur's Gate 3 physical edition, Xbox they don't ship or print dual layer Blu-rays or the 100 gigabyte Blu-ray disc. I didn't realize that until so I was like, why does the Xbox version have an extra disc compared to the PlayStation one?
Because they're 50 gig discs, that's why, not 100 gig discs.
Yeah, they don't have the 100 gig discs. And I was like, that's strange, unless even then they were like, well, they made that Brooklyn slide at the beginning of this generation, where midway through they were planning on removing the disc drive completely. So even then, when they were planning out what kind of media they were going to use, they're probably like, well, in 4 or 5 years, we're out with it anyway, so who cares? But yeah, I think, let's say they start their generation, as has kind of been rumored, holiday 2026. I don't think there's a disc drive on that thing. I think it's just digital only, and I feel like they link it to the cloud somehow, and I think that's how they try to make it different.
John, I'm telling you, I'm out after this generation. For Xbox, I'm out. That's it.
You're out? What if Banjo-Kazooie's there?
Whatever.
Well, you gotta buy that.
It'll be on PC as well. So
yeah, I'll just play it on PC. No, I can't support a company that's going to go all digital, John. It's just not.
Oh,
it's just
man.
not. It's not in my DNA. I can't do that. Like,
Well, it's such an L for the consumer.
Exactly. Once you take ownership away from the customer, like the fact that you can't trade in your game or sell it, or take it to GameStop to upgrade to the next system, just all that stuff, right? Let a friend borrow your game, all the things that go with physical products. Then I'm not interested in that at all. That's not what I want to do.
It's also, Josie said not good for the consumer, because how many times have you seen where a game is more expensive on the storefront, cheaper physical? There's a sale, there's a deal, right? Like Persona 5 Tactica. I mean, I think there's a deal right now. You can get it for $30. I don't know if that's the same on the PSN store, but anyway, either way, it would put pressure on them to lower that price on there, right? There's always a lot of checks and balances, right? To where that. So as a consumer, you want all the different options, just like you want the options to be able to buy food from Walmart or from a grocery, like a farmer's market. You want multiple options on where you get said product, right? Same thing with video gaming. You don't want everything to be controlled through one storefront. That's not what you want. I mean, basic, economics class will teach you that. So I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter." No, it does matter. That's not even, just remove video games. You don't want that in anything when it comes to consumer products. You don't want, what if there's only one movie theater and there wasn't, like, they can just charge what they want, right? You don't want one place to buy clothes. You don't want one place to buy clothes. You want multiple places. You want competition. So, I mean, even if you are all digital, you still get benefits from having physical option there, even if you already are just like all digital, because you might get better prices because they see that. I think they did it with Marvel Midnight Suns. That game was way cheaper physical. It was still full price digital. Yeah. They changed the price as soon as they all right, now discount on PSN. So you still benefit from that. So I mean, I think it's weird that people don't understand that,
So I do want to, people were mentioning in the chat about PC being all digital. The difference though with PC, and I had to think about this a little bit just to make sure, but PC, if you, for example, buy on GOG or other places, it's free.
And free.
PC, the difference between the PC and say an Xbox is open platform versus closed. So the Xbox is a closed walled off garden, whereas PC it's open. So you can have competing marketplaces, which is one of the reasons you see Epic try to buy exclusivity for games, but also give games away and stuff, because there can still be competition on that one system. So unless we get to a point where, it sounds weird, but a PlayStation store could exist on an Xbox and vice versa, it's going to be closed off and it's going to be different.
Also, PC is PC. Consoles were, it was a different situation. Just because PC does something, that doesn't mean it should be the standard across what consoles were, right? Consoles were different. So to me, having differences is good. Like a console, people like that. PC does a lot of stuff that, consoles don't do, right? So I don't think because PC does it is a valid reason to why they should do the same thing. So what? Who gives a shit? PC also has free online. People still pay for Xboxes. They feel it's worth it. People still pay for PSN, and then nobody's putting up pitchforks for that. So I mean, they're still paying their PSN and they're still paying their Xbox Live. So that's also, by the way, bullshit.
It sounds weird. I actually wouldn't be surprised if this comes up as like a serious issue with the digital future with these closed ecosystems. I wouldn't be shocked if this gets challenged in like court, and you might actually see the ability to do that. It sounds weird, but you could get to a point where Microsoft's allowed to put a store on Sony's side and Sony's allowed to put a store on Microsoft's side and everyone's allowed to put a store on Nintendo. It would be a weird future. I don't really know what that would look like, but this is something that's come up with Apple and Google recently, and Google has to allow an Xbox store now on their Android OS next to the Play Store because they technically lost it. So
I think the other thing with PC with Steam is that you can get a refund. You can play a game for up to 2 hours and refund it. You don't have that. You can't do that on Xbox. You can't do that on PlayStation right now. I mean,
get that figured out. Yeah.
I mean, you say that, right? But are they really going to figure that out?
No.
You think they're going to figure that out? They're not. They're not. They're going to fight every single step of the way. So you can't get a refund. You can't have ownership of the game that you purchased. So you cannot trade it in. You can't give it to. You can't, send it to a friend. You can't do anything. It's yours, and they can take it away anytime they want to take it away from you. Whether that means a license runs out and they have to remove the game from storefronts. We've seen that happen so many times. The fact that there is no physical option going forward, or there doesn't seem likely there will be a physical option, it's scares the absolute shit out of me. So I don't want to be a part of an ecosystem that isn't all digital, personally.
So I'm so curious, like, if there's been a study on like what went wrong with the Xbox ecosystem. Not wrong in a sense, obviously people still buy games, but in general, like it is well known that, and obviously you can tell because they're cutting physical, that Xbox gamers typically, not all, but some, don't buy physical games anymore. They lean more into the digital market. And I just want to know like what happened, because Xbox gamers buy a ton of accessories. The accessory market for Xbox is like, I don't know if it's still booming, but when I was in third party license, they'll buy 50 of them, and it just just to sit on a wall. So I'm just curious what happened with fostering the purchasing like games like environment for that that console community.
When you boot up any console,
Game Pass.
well, Game Pass,
but PlayStation Plus exists, and PlayStation gamers still buy it physically. And like I know,
they're
obviously
only at
in
like
Japan,
50% or something.
Well,
right?
I think once Microsoft started putting their day one games on there, and then they started going out and getting games day one and putting it there, I feel like, because like a lot of the stuff from like Sony is very clearly kind of timid about it. They're like, well, we'll wait a year and a half, and then we'll move it over to the service. There, Sony's being at least trying to be pretty careful about it, whereas Microsoft's like, day one, here you go, you just click a few buttons and you download it. I think that has started to condition people to just go that route, which, hey, if you pay the subscription fee and the company's willing to put it there, you should take advantage of it. So I
haven't bought a single Xbox game, but I have Game Pass.
There you go.
Well, when you boot the system up, does it start asking you like, oh, check out this new game that just came out, and then the only option to purchase it from the console is digital only? Because that's also a thing. Impulse buying, seeing that.
So they have this thing, Evan, sometimes it'll pop up when you start your system, and it comes up with like a card when you wake it up out of sleep, and it'll just be like a big screen that's like, an image of the game, key art or something, and then like a buy it now here, or subscribe if it's on Game Pass. So they do try to walk you to it that way as well, but I will admit that when I think about physical games for these different systems, Xbox is the one that's like in the back of my mind for going out and buying a disc. And I've been on many different shows with different Xbox creators, like for example Randall Thor. Whenever I talk to him, he's like, still buying physical games? Yeah, so he's all digital now, doesn't even think about it. So
yeah, but see, I talked to Rand about this, and he loves buying books. He's an avid book reader. He has many physical books.
You gotta go Kindle.
But he won't do the digital Kindle stuff. He tells me. So, Rand likes physical books. I mean, it's different from games, but it's the same thing. Yeah,
I mean, I can see digital's super convenient, right? Super convenient. There's a lot of great things, and I'd still buy digital myself. I still buy obviously Palworld, that's digital, or I buy indie games or stuff like that digital. But like I said, it's about the balance, right? It's about having both there to keep them in line, keep everything, having multiple different places to get things, so they can't just charge whatever they want. I mean, listen, every company, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, they all want you to go all digital. Trust me, they all want you to go all digital. If they want you to go all digital, that's not necessarily great for you. Trust me. If they, as somebody who's worked in corporate, like big business, if everyone's saying, I'll push for digital, trust me, it's not for your benefit. Just keep that in mind. It's not for your benefit. It might seem that way, but trust me, it's not.
There's a big resurgence right now of like people wanting physical DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff because of the all streaming stuff. So I wonder if maybe something like that, hopefully to a larger extent, could happen in the gaming space and maybe like bring it back some way. I don't know.
Everything's cyclical. Vinyl was outselling almost a ton of stuff a few years ago, but it's going to go back down. But everything's cyclical. We'll get back to physical at some point. It's just how.
I feel like it would be really hard because like with console games, like the factories stop making eventually they're going to announce that like the factories are done with PS4 making like those discs. So even if there is a huge interest, whatever games currently or in the next generation that has all digital, those games might be lost to time, and that scares me too.
Well, we'll see what Microsoft does going towards what we think is their next gen system in 2026, 2027. No disk drive. Probably not. Yeah, I think I could see Sony having their detachable disk drive still if they really wanted to have something for physical media next gen. but everybody's busy playing Fortnite. You don't need a disc for that.
Fortnite's a banger game.
There, see, they already got her.
I got a physical copy of Fortnite.
Did you actually buy that?
Of course.
That's the game with Indiana Jones in it, right?
Code in the box, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not even a cartridge.
But
There's
still,
like literally nothing in there.
But it's still a box.
It's the box.
What? But wait, wasn't there like back in the day when Fortnite first came out, there was like a physical PS4 version?
I don't think there was.
It's
There
like
might have
really,
been.
really rare to find. I mean,
No, there is a. I think there is a real physical though.
Oh,
Like with the disc in it.
yeah,
back from when it was a horde mode game. I don't know if
the horde mode.
Yeah.
Now they just do it to prank parents and have them spend money on a free game.
wow, interesting. I didn't know that. I wonder what's that? Are you looking to see what that's going for, Evan?
Kinda.
The Fortnite disc. Let me.
They just put Snake in. Sorry.
Oh, they just put Snake. I think Raiden's in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can say, Josie, that's the
game with
Fortnite. When you
That's
Metal Gear Solid
That's
in
the
it.
guy from Fortnite.
We still got a Josie to play a Metal Gear Solid game, and
no.
Eventually.
they're remaking 3, so you can get on that, and then we can go from there to 1 and then 2. So,
all right.
I feel like you're just the PS1 graphics aren't going to click with you. I feel like you're going to just look at that and be like, these old people are telling me to play this.
Yeah, the boomers.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yep. I do want to recognize a very generous super chat here from Joshua Butts saying, "What's up, Spawncast? I know it's not gaming, but just wanted to shout out the latest trailer of The Last Airbender on Netflix. I'm excited for it. Anyway, thanks for the constant content. Love you guys. Cheers." Shout out to Joshua Butts over there. That sounds like Josie's department. The Last Airbender.
Wait, my department too. What is this?
What?
There's a trailer for the new Netflix Avatar live action thing.
Oh.
It looks good, but there's no need for it. Like, why do we need live action Avatar? We don't. But it looks good. It'll probably be great. But I think it's a better animated show, to be honest.
This was dropped originally on Xbox One, right? Fortnite, the disc version.
Was it?
I think so.
Oh, I don't know.
It's like $100.
That's Joshua Butts. Shout out.
I thought they were
$100?
announcing
Okay,
a new Airbender. That's what I thought they were having.
No, I wish.
That's why I was like, wait,
I
hold on
wish.
here.
No.
Why are we not freaking out?
We already went over remakes and remasters. That's what we do.
Literally, Hollywood needs to chill out.
There it is.
There's a lot of money to be made, so they will not.
Well, there's a lot. Well, the thing was,
No way.
they made a lot of money. They made a lot of money originally because it was a new idea and people liked it. It's just the need.
Well, there's
for
a bunch
safety.
of lamos who are super hyped for this one. I mean, it looks good, but still, like, people are out of their mind. Oh, it's bringing it to a new audience. It's on Netflix already. You can watch it already.
There's some people that just like for example, like my wife, she does not like animated stuff. You know, she just doesn't. And even if it's good, she just doesn't.
You've told her she's weird, right? You've told her she's weird.
Yeah, I told her she's weird. She knows that.
Sure.
But like, yeah, I told her, but she doesn't like animated stuff. She will watch like stuff that's like, for example, like this is crazy. She likes like the Lion King, like the real looking Lion King thing over the animated one. I almost divorced her. Yeah, it was.
Well, okay, so the real one is basically animated. Like we're on the same
The
page.
real one
with that,
is
right?
animated. It's just real.
Like the cartoon. You know what I'm saying? Like she likes the more realistic.
So she likes the
looking
CG version.
Yeah, like
Okay.
like the one that looks more realistic. So like even like with like the Mario Bros movie, she's like, oh yeah, it's okay.
She needs
but
the
I swear, if
uncanny
it was
valley.
live action, she probably would have been into it more if it was like a live action one. You know, so there's that. There are some people that are just like that. You know, I don't know why.
Yikes.
let me go over to some of the super chats here. Chris says, picked up a Dreamcast with Power Stone 1 and 2 at a garage sale today. I'm a happy
Nice.
camper. What's everybody?
Nice.
That was a good pickup.
Dreamcast rules.
Andy Ackerman here with the little sticker. Thanks, Andy. Tijo says, so as someone who doesn't buy early access games, I'm wondering when Palworld will actually release, PS5, Switch, physical, etc. I think they got a ways to go, but when it does come out, it'll probably already be at like 30 billion copies sold or something anyway. So
How long
Yeah,
did it take?
they got a long way to go before we start talking about that.
How long did it take for PUBG to get out of early access? It was like years, wasn't it? 3
that was
years?
a whole controversy with the Game of the Year thing because it was nominated when it was still in early access or something. I feel like it was years, MVG, you're right. So this could be a 2-year road for them just to get it to 1.0. So it's going to be a bit. Liam says, will Jordan and Nate be on here anymore? Nate keeps teasing his
Probably
return.
not. Let's be honest.
Jordan randomly appears.
Friend just left.
It's living
Nate,
the life.
I don't know what Nate's doing.
I think Jordan was.
If you want
Access,
Nate,
actually.
he's on the Game and Talk podcast. It's really good. You should watch it.
Yeah,
every
where do
2
you find that,
Wednesdays.
Josie?
YouTube.com/Game and Talk.
Thank you.
Please
Great
check it out.
podcast.
It's a
They were going
banger.
to pull up competition, and Josie said she's going to try to do 10, and Nate asked if he had to do 10 in a row. So good stuff.
Live streamed too.
Trump says Xbox layoffs is to make room for Sega. I don't know about that one.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. Tijo says, I know y'all are content creators, but how do y'all manage picking up and playing all these good games with the release dates so close together? Well, I haven't been able to play Like a Dragon yet. I would like to.
I don't play everything. Like,
yeah, I only
honestly,
I probably play and finish maybe between 7 to 10 games a year.
Not bad. It's almost one a month.
Yeah, give or take. Yeah. So I don't play everything.
So that's the thing. Like for me right now, the one that I'm really looking towards, and I'm like, I have to make sure I'm clearing and I'm there day one is Rebirth. So that's the end of February, so a month from now. But like I want to do Like a Dragon. There's another game I'm playing now, and then fortunately I'm not in a Tekken. Otherwise I'd be in real trouble right now. So it's tough.
Yeah, I kind of just pick and choose mostly. Unless I buy a lot of just random Nintendo stuff, but
there you go. Let's see. This is from Boot, who says, proud of you for your progress as a YouTuber, Josie. You're cool and better all the time. And they have a little salute. Jalen says, any chance is there an end to the wave of mass layoffs in gaming industry?
Never.
They not gonna lie, they're starting to trigger me. I think it's gonna be a little bit still, Jalen. I think we still have a couple months of that.
We're probably a few months away from a bunch of announcements of delays as well. That'll be great.
Oh yeah. Cody says, just wondering if Pokemon own the rights to anime style monsters. Did they create the cartoon monster concept? Who was OG inspiration for Pokemon? Probably Dragon Quest.
They definitely don't own the rights to monsters.
They don't, but they own the rights to their IP and the designs that they created. So it's not like an overarching like umbrella, but if you compare them side by side, and if there isn't distinct differences between each character, then it crosses over into legal territory.
Yeah, absolutely on that one.
Let's see. Getting Stuff Done says Pokemon for America. Well, so the developers, Pocket Pair, apparently said that they included guns with the Pokemon concept because they were trying to sell to Americans. So there you go.
That's great.
Japanese company though, guys.
They are, yeah.
so funny.
We have a great reputation.
Yeah, it's a Japanese company, and the funniest thing is that in the development of the game, the guy was saying like he couldn't find anybody who knew how to make like a decent shooter, like mechanics. There was like a guy that was like working at like a grocery store that said he had a little bit of experience like with shooters, and like, they brought him in. He was like, "Okay, you're gonna save us."
Yeah, apparently a bunch of them had no idea how to program certain things, and they just did it for this.
Yeah, they just were like, "All right, sure, we'll try it," you know. So yeah, they didn't even know how to do shooting mechanics and stuff.
I think that's why they all look like Pokemon, is because they didn't know what they were doing, and they're like, there's a character named Pikachu, and we'll give him a third ear, and everything's gonna be okay. Like,
they look like this is not proven. They look like Pokemon because they used AI. They blend them and then changed it. Like I'm just joking. I'm joking, but I'm like not joking. Because a lot of them are like
it's weird.
It's so close to the point to where I don't think somebody drew that. They did something, but once again, how much is transformative, how much is not? But it's some of it's so close. Like some of the designs are just like same shape, same eyes, same structure. Like the one to me is like the Luxray one. Go check out the Luxray one, guys. Look up it's just too close. You know, I've never seen that in any other like Pokemon style or like type of game, but yeah, I mean obviously they're Pokemon fans. I mean clearly like they were fans of Pokemon, you know. But yeah, I'm just joking with those. Like there's no actual like there's not anything definitive right now with that.
Well, Nintendo will spend enough money to see if there is. So
well, the Pokemon company will for sure. Nintendo's just kind of sitting back, but the Pokemon company will definitely like look into it.
IRS says Sparking Zero trailer tomorrow. Who do you want in? They want, let's see, they say they want Bio Broly, A21, Inter 21, and Golden Metal
Broly.
Cooler.
Bio
What about
Broly
you,
would be
MVG
nuts.
Spawn and OJ? Well, obviously you got to ask MVG about this, but
Wait, what? What are you guys
for a character reveal tomorrow, I'll go with Gogeta from the Fusion Reborn.
What are you talking about? What character reveal? What's happening tomorrow?
Dragon Ball Z.
I could give a fuck about Dragon Ball Z.
That was the joke.
I put the comparison in the Spawncast chat in Discord for you guys if you wanted to see what
I
OJ
like
was talking
for the
about.
game. Good gameplay. That's what I want. A good.
All right, I have a character, Gordon Freeman from Half-Life. Let's put him in.
Oh gosh, this guy
With the gravity gun. Can we do that?
Shout out to Johnny Disorder, new member. Thanks for membering up over there,
What's
Johnny.
up, Johnny?
Guest characters for Sparking Zero. Okay.
Garlic Jr.
Good
Garlic.
gameplay.
Okay. Transforming Garlic Jr.
Or transforming Garlic Jr. or Robo Dr. Dro, like the big one.
Or good.
Okay.
Please be good gameplay.
No, it won't
Not
be good.
typical arena fighter nonsense.
No, it's not gonna be good.
Now those visuals, you get Gogeta from Fusion Reborn. That look cool.
It is going to be the wash, rinse, repeat. Build up your energy bar, watch a cutscene of a super move, and then do it again. And then there's your cycle.
I'm here for it.
Will it be better than Raging Blast 2?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, it has to be.
That game is Raging Blast is so bad.
Hey,
it's a long time ago, but it's
someone
bad.
said PyCon. Someone actually remembered PyCon. All right, Josie, what do you
Nobody
think?
else
You
did.
can't be in the Last Airbender and not be in the Dragon Ball Z.
It's 100% you can be.
Actually, I don't know.
Oh no.
I feel like I'm not an anime girl, you know. Too unrealistic for me.
Well,
Makes me feel bad.
Airbender's not. Wait, hold on. Airbender's just as Avatar's
Okay.
just as unrealistic as
Okay.
any other
Well,
anime.
to be
I'm
honest,
sorry, I will spell it out. The anime boobs, I don't like them. They're too
Okay.
big. It's weird.
That's only with some. You should probably watch other ones like Monster. Monster's a
Yeah.
crazy show.
What?
I feel like you
I've
could
never
watch
seen
Dragon Ball
Monster.
Z then.
Yeah, I don't think Dragon Ball Z is too.
I was gonna
bad,
say.
man. Yeah, I don't recall. I mean, the only thing would be like maybe that one. What was that one girl? At the beginning, like Lunch or Launch or
Yeah,
whatever
Lunch.
her name is. But even,
Lunch.
yeah, but
No,
even then,
like-
that wasn't even that bad.
That's it's an episode that you could basically it's probably like more filler episode for that anyway.
Yeah. Most of the girls are like even like there's not a lot of like Z fighter women, but like Android 18, she's pretty like tame. You know, there's not really anything with her.
Like I like Studio Ghibli, you know.
And she looks like Miss Quick too, so you should watch it. You like Miss Quick, right?
I mean, yes, but
She really does.
what?
Android 18.
I'll stick to
look at this-
Avatar. I like Avatar. It's chill.
She'll stick to Avatar. Shout out to Ike Lewis for membering up. Thanks, Ike. Appreciate it. And let's see. Yeah, so there's a Sparking Zero trailer tomorrow. I think it's about 2.5 minutes long, so they'll have some kind of reveal in there. CJ says, MVG, are you worried about AI and the effect it will have on jobs in the games industry?
We already kinda went over it.
An overarching yes. How about that?
Okay.
I am worried about it.
Getting stuff done also says, don't forget the interest rate rise. I don't know any corp that does not have borrowed money from banks is happening in all fields. It is. There's I think we'll go through this year and they'll cut rates and then interest rates will come under control a bit more. But yeah, you're right. This is something that's happening just across like the labor industry in general, where they're actively trying to, it sounds bad, but they're actively trying to make people lose their jobs. As bad as that sounds, for the labor market. So
Housing's terrible right now, man. I was lucky to get a house.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I know.
It's almost impossible for like a young person to buy a house. these days.
College is
Yeah.
insane to try to living in a college town is horrendous.
It all plays into the inflation stuff. So hopefully they'll be under control this year, and then they can.
You know what? What I say you should do? Try to build your credit as quickly as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So get a secured card, like one of those secured cards that has a small limit, and just like spend it on lunch and gas and just pay it off. Just build your credit up. That's the move.
Yeah, because I bought a house this year, and man, did I go through a lot of paperwork. And this is my second one. I sold my own, so like, and I'm like, damn, it wasn't like this before. You know, the first time around.
Did years before or after the interest rate spike? I bought a house too this year.
The interest rates were, I mean, when the first house I bought, the interest rate was so low. It was like 2 point something. Like I forgot what it was.
Man.
This one was way higher, but I was able to avoid the 7s, and I was able to get it into like at least the 6, range, which is still high, but at least it's not.
I locked in right before it went up, and I was like, oh my god, because literally 2 weeks later, I wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, it's the interest rates are killer right now, but I'm happy with the 6 that I got. I'm happy with that.
None of this is financial advice. MVG's not a financial advisor.
Yeah, I'm not a financial.
It's all for entertainment purposes.
Hashtag not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor.
Not getting us.
Make sure you put that in there, Josh. Very important.
This is from Rakel says, "Will y'all be buying Switch 2 day one?"
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. I will be there.
If I can get one, of course. Hopefully we can all get one, right?
There's some rumors. Did you hear the latest rumors?
Yeah,
we'll see if they get enough supply out there.
I saw a Nintendo Prime video saying there's 10 million out there ready to be sold. So
this man got more information about the Switch 2 than anybody.
He's giving me all the info about the Switch 2. I'm loving it.
Okay. JT Bell says, Josie, as an older man myself, just let John have his moment on working out. Nothing but love. Thanks for the content, LOL.
Oh, okay. I understand now. John posted a video of him working out, and I posted a video or a picture underneath of my abs because I thought it was funny. I was just kidding. It's not photoshopped, though. Natty.
Mennonite life, man. It's pretty good for working out.
I was just trying to pull weights down, see what happened.
I thought it was funny.
I stopped doing that after the Ubisoft developer came after me when I talked about something about that, so I don't do it no more.
Hey, so summer's coming. Summer's coming.
I was looking for a video of me doing lat pull downs like you were doing, but I couldn't. I get too scared to take videos in the gym. So
I'll maybe enter that pull up contest.
You'd probably kill me. I'm not actually very good at them, so.
This is from I'm known to do some pull ups. So.
What happened to your rotator cuff?
No, that was for pushing.
Ooh. Okay.
Pulling. I'm actually pretty good at
Pull day is different.
Yeah, pull exercise. I'm pretty good at. So. Yeah, Yum says Sony created Blu-ray during the media wars. It's almost peaked its potential. What do you think is a possible next physical media for games and movies?
Will there be?
I feel like there's not much left. You just move to digital eventually.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything left after this.
The small little solid state drive USB things that you push in and they can play games super
just
fast.
A little crystal.
OJ, I thought about that. I think we've talked about this before. How the Xbox has the expansion, the SSD, the M2 expansion slot at the back. If they just put games on those and just sold those, and you just put them in the back of the Xbox, and it's rare. You can play.
How expensive would that be?
Yeah, it's
Jesus
the price
Christ.
Very, very expensive.
Can't wait to play GTA 6 on a $500 NVMe card. It'd be great. Yeah.
They need to get the price down. Remember back in the day when USB? How much did I pay for a 32 gigabyte USB drive back in the day? When I was in college and stuff. It was like $100 or something.
That was it was untouchable to have that USB stick. Yeah, it was you just had the 1 gigabyte stick with paperwork on it.
Yeah, I had a computer class. We were using floppy disks at the time, and there was this, so I needed something a bit better.
This is from Varang, who says, "Hello, I got my tickets and hotel for too many games. Who all is going? I will be there. Sean's gonna go too. He has to. He basically locked in at this point.
I will try to be there.
Yeah, I can try to be there. See what's
there
up.
You go. See, look at that. Look at that. They're going.
I just don't fly Spirit. I just will not fly Spirit.
You might see the bolts loosening in the plane if you're flying Spirit.
Yeah, unless all these layoffs are getting to you, then take the gamble.
Don't fly Alaska either, because apparently the airline, the plane, the door just flies off the plane mid-flight. Apparently, it's what.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Apparently, a lot of the Boeing whatever that they use, was they're having some issues there. So yeah, I think I'll go with Delta. So we'll see.
This is from Safa, who says in rural and regional places going to be less gaming because lack of high-speed broadband, like here in Australia. Yeah. I don't know I don't know what the internet connection is in Australia.
I think a lot of these companies would be okay losing
a
large percentage of their marketplace by controlling their own shop storefront. Like, I think they'd be fine with it, which is kind of sad.
That would suck.
Yeah.
I think
I'd probably be out too. I probably wouldn't be able to play there.
Oh yeah, you're pretty reliant on a shoddy connection there, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And then no message here from Spicy Peppa. Let's see. We have. Oh yeah, for all the people in the chat, yes, Josie posted a picture of her ab muscles. I see you guys in there. Yes, it was very impressive. Okay, I see it. I wasn't making fun of her picture. No, it was very impressive. Okay, you can check it out. It's under the video of me attempting to pull down weights. Yes, go ahead, check it out.
I debated so much posting that, and then I was like, screw it. And then I didn't look at my phone for a very long time because I was really scared. But
why?
I don't know. It was just a nerve-wracking
weirdos and internet.
Yeah, weirdos.
Weirdos have entered the chat.
Yeah, mostly.
No, I
thought it was funny. Plus, I was hoping that the weirdos would get scared after they see it.
No,
I won't mess with her.
Emboldened.
Josie,
are your feet as muscular? Haha. It's like, Jesus Christ.
110, actually. It's a muscle.
They're behind the keyboard. That's what makes them not scared.
You're right. That's true.
Let's talk about the Switch 2 reports. This from Bloomberg. Takashi Machizuki's back at it again. We've joked that it's actually Nate, but no,
Nate
Takashi's back
Mochizuki.
with some information we already kind of knew. Like, Nate put this out there last year, or maybe it was VGC. Maybe Nate heard it from VGC. I don't know. But
according to Nate, so just so we get the
you were
the
there,
story
weren't you?
correct. I was on the show with him. So
you were there?
VGC announced it was an LCD display, so they they were the first ones to break that. But Nate said it was an 8-inch screen, and so as far as I know, Nate was the first one to say 8-inch screen, like 12 months ago, which was now confirmed, well, not confirmed, I guess corroborated in the report, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yep.
8-inch.
Takashi Machizuki, 8-inch LCD, not OLED, apparently. And is planning to release this year, as we've all kind of expected. This coming from Omdia, which is a firm that does a lot of research into, mostly a lot of analysis into supply line chains, all kinds of stuff around displays, electronics, semiconductors. So it seems like they have maybe their finger on the pulse for what's being ordered right now. And that's also, I believe, one of the reasons, as you mentioned earlier, for 10 million, they're hearing about the bookings and things around an idea of ordering enough to get 10 million or so out earlier on in the system's life, which hopefully means we won't get bombarded by scalpers. But to be fair, the PS5 was covered with scalpers like consistently up until it sold like 30 million or so, 25 to 30 million. So it's still gonna be a fight for the system when it comes out. But the big talking point is the LCD. It's not OLED. So is that gonna feel like a step back for people when they show up with this thing? And while I believe it's to cut down on costs, where do you think that cost is? Where do you think the extra money's going that they'd be cutting back on?
Probably weird Joy-Con technology that nobody cares about.
Hopefully they're putting it into the flash, right? So we get more flash storage or something like that. Look, yes, it is a step back from OLED. Let's be clear on that. But this is a different system. This is not the Switch, right? This is the next version or the next console. So you got to start over again. You can't just say we're going to continue to iterate from the Nintendo Switch and keep the generation alive. They've drawn a line in the sand, and they're going with a bigger screen, which I think is the right move. And we will probably see an OLED panel get introduced at some point during this next generation of Nintendo hardware, right? So I mean, some people are disappointed. I would like to see an OLED day one, but the reality was we were probably never going to get that. Let's be honest.
Yeah, Yeah, I would definitely like to see OLED as well. That would have been better. But at the end of the day, it's about the games that come out, and how good those games are, and everything. I got an OLED TV, so, and I know not everybody has that. OLED TVs are pricey, but yeah.
The other thing with LCD, sorry, OJ.
Go ahead.
The other thing with LCD is the technology is a lot better now than what it was when Nintendo put these panels in the original Switch models, right? Like you've got what do you got? QLED and all these different variations of, LED panels now, right? So I think whatever they come out with is going to look really good. It's not going to be OLED. We'll get OLED eventually, but I don't think it's going to be, something that is a big deal at the end of the day.
Yeah, the PS Portal screen is surprisingly really good.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and that's beautiful not screen. OLED.
I feel like a lot of this has to do with just the cost of the OLED, because if you look at their financials, they've said outright that the margin for the $350 Switch OLED system is quite a bit less than what they make on the Redbox Switch at $300. And the biggest difference, obviously, is that OLED screen. So I feel like if they want to get this thing at $400, which is what I feel like most people are assuming it's going to be, they probably weren't going to get that OLED in there for $50 more than their current system, but also significantly more powerful, we assume. Extra features, NVIDIA having them. I assume they're going to redo the Joy-Cons. If you have an 8-inch screen, so we're going another inch diagonally. I mean, I feel like we're going to have different form factors for how the Joy-Cons attach. It might not be a sliding rail system anymore. They might have a whole new thing figured out. These are parts that people don't really, because everyone's really focused on the idea of how powerful is the system going to be. I do feel like the control scheme around this with the Joy-Cons, or what the successor is to the Joy-Con, could end up playing in a much bigger factor even than what NVIDIA comes up with, because we already assume it's going to be 3-4 times more powerful from raw numbers. But that's the thing I'm really curious about, is what they do to go next to that screen with these controllers and the form factor, the dock. So the screen itself, because it's at the system is built around the screen. Parts inside are essentially placed to accommodate this screen with the casing. So I do wonder how much that's going to affect everything else around it. But 8-inch LCD, people, if you have a PlayStation Portal right now and you're okay with that screen, you're probably looking at a very similar screen to what's going to be in this next system. I wouldn't even be shocked if people rip the system apart, look at the back, and it's just about the same model number as to what's in your PlayStation Portal right now. So if you're fine with that one, you're probably good with what we end up seeing here. Unless they do some crazy thing, like they push the refresh rate up or something on it to 120 for the handheld, or they have what's that?
No, to finish your thought and then I'll jump in.
Oh, no, you're fine. I will say, unless they have some form of HDR that is just more vibrant or something that kind of accommodates for it. But go on.
Yeah, no, to bounce off your Joy-Con comment, I really hope they put money into making the system more durable. It's always since the beginning of time with Nintendo, it's always been synonymous with quality. I've dropped my Nintendo 64 down the stairs. I didn't mean to. And it flew down and I was like, no! And no, it's perfectly fine. And I've had horrible accidents with all of my consoles and they've all lived wonderfully and they're perfect. But the Switch is the first console where I've been terrified of breaking it. And even when you don't, the drift on the Joy-Cons was something that was an issue for all of us. So I really hope if they're cutting money with instead of having the screen be more fancy, I would love it to be more sturdy. So I'm not terrified, because I keep my Switch in its dock and that's the only place it's allowed to go, because I know I'm going to break it.
I've given 2 kids so far Switches and they've run through 2 of them. So
Switch Lite though?
One Switch Lite, that thing is just you should the screen's popping out of it and stuff. And then the other one,
hold on, John. Did you do a tear down of this system before you gave it to them? or did you just give them like a brand new,
Okay, so one was
Switch?
reshelled. I did the reshell, and it.
Okay, here we go.
One was, but the other one wasn't. It was just a regular Switch, and that one's been through the ringer. So I think one just stopped working, and then they don't tell you why. But
Yeah,
they probably got water on it or something.
Probably
Basically, it is
probably didn't apply the thermal paste properly, and it overheated. And he blaming kids for it. I get it.
But no, like what happens with kids is they'll take it to like the table and they'll eat while they're playing it or something, and it gets all like it gets all messed up. Yeah, so
it's not with kids. That's what adults be doing that stuff too.
I do want to recognize Dark Type here with the new membership. Thanks, Dark Type. Says, "Who's the cutie in the top right?" And on the stream, that would be Evan.
It's Evan.
That's Evan.
It is Evan. It is. Shout out, Dark Type. So you're right in the sense that the Switch can get beaten up pretty well, but I feel like a 3DS would have probably gotten beaten up by these kids too. So, but
did you ever try putting cases on it, like?
Oh yeah. You can put. They have cases, yeah, but the Joy-Cons are what get destroyed. Like the Switch body is okay. I've seen the Joy-Con joysticks get pushed into where they don't work anymore. Like they'll light those things up. Fortunately, you take them off, you put new ones on. Those aren't cheap though. So, but the screen is surprisingly durable, is what I'll say on that. Otherwise, though, the kickstand is somewhere. I don't know what happened to it.
Thing flew off into the darkness, never came back.
Who knows? It's just gone. It's gone for good. So the little rectangle thing, but the Joy-Cons are the thing that I would like to see them improve with their next system. Durability, functionality, comfort, the whole thing. So I am not opposed to them going the route of what Sony did with theirs, where they just have a handle coming off it. I really don't, because I don't think I've never passed the Joy-Con off to someone. I don't know if anyone else has. I think we did it once. I remember when we first got it, I had Evan try it. Like I was like,
I think I did that with my daughter.
It's terrible.
It's always that thing at the beginning where you're just like, see if it works. No, it doesn't.
Yeah. I just tried it one time with my daughter, but I'm
okay to leave that concept behind.
Yeah.
I think I'm fine with that, which I hope means that they could also then bring back the D-pad like outright natively on the Switch. So I think it was a fun idea at first, and then I feel like if they put a survey out and asked, do you actively hand off a Joy-Con to someone, or do you find use in it? I feel like most people would say no. So I kind
of use that all the time, but
great. See, here's Joseph.
For 1-2 Switch, I'm guessing. Or?
Yeah, everybody 1-2.
Yeah, Mario Kart, actually, it's hell.
Mario Kart. Oh, okay,
yeah, with the little drifting on the little thingies, it's not fun.
Yeah. I guess for spur of the moment stuff, but I don't know. I don't even leave the house with the Switch much at all, really. So just stays here. So I mean, I guess if technically you're someone who just plays docked, which there are people who never pull the system out of the dock, then you probably don't care about the screen or the Joy-Cons. You just want it to be more powerful. So that's it. But we'll say, hey, you know what? If it's if we're starting to hear about what I think is coming out of manufacturing and ordering. March announcement. I think maybe that's my plan.
Yeah.
March announcement. Okay, good. All right, good. MVG's on board. So we'll drop a trailer and then we'll go from there. So
do you think they could do something where the dock makes it more powerful or like upscales it?
This has been theorized since the Switch was announced. Like we actually, for a while, we thought that was the case. I remember when they took the Switch on Jimmy Fallon's show back in the day, Reggie specifically said, and I feel like they said this for a reason because people were theorizing about that, specifically said everything is in the Switch, nothing's in the dock. So I guess it's possible. I mean, technically the Switch does like clock higher and it eliminates the need for a battery when it goes in the dock. So I guess it's possible they could do something, but I don't know if they would actively put a ton of technology in the dock, because then the dock would all of a sudden be like $150 or something.
The dock, at least on the OLEDs, can be updated, right? There's an update option.
That was something that sparked a lot of the resurgence of, is NVIDIA going to put an upscaler chip in the dock? It'll be great. And I don't know.
Yeah. So
that'd be rad.
Yeah, see, for me, I'd rather them show up with a $500 Switch that's just like, this is it. This thing does everything. But I also understand that realistically they want it to probably be $400. But I would have no problem if they had a $400 and a $500 system, and I bought the $500 that's OLED and has 4K capabilities, the whole deal. But that's probably not going to happen.
I mean, they'll have the OLED model. They'll just repeat the same thing they did this time round.
Think it'll be OLED then light or light then OLED?
I don't know. Good question. Maybe light then OLED again.
Yeah, I could see that.
Why? Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah. They still need to make the Switch Mini.
Switch Micro?
What
about the Switch
that's
Micro?
Their other system. That's their 2DS XL they're going to announce. After we get the new system announced and shown off, they're going to announce a Switch Mini. It's going to be an even smaller Switch.
The size of a phone or something. That'd be kind of cool.
It's on a keychain. You can put it on your key. Great.
It'll be like that, maybe. It'll be a little smaller than a Switch Lite. Let's see. No, I'm actually expecting that. Like, you can come back to the podcast in a few months.
I will.
Okay. This is. I do want to mention this before we finish up here, because Metroid Prime 4, the reboot, officially 5 years old now. The announcement. Yeah, I just want to bring it up.
Why?
It's a 5-year anniversary for it.
Sweet.
I'm like, did something happen? Oh, it's the 5-year anniversary of the PNG file that we saw. Okay.
No, I think this was the re-announcement. This was the announcement of the reboot.
That it was getting rebooted.
That's even older. MVG.
Wow. It's been 7 years, right?
God damn.
5 years. Yep. 2019, January 25th. There you go. 5 years.
Does any other game beat that record for Nintendo at least?
Oh, for Nintendo, no. But I was about to say Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah, no other games stuff.
Nintendo. That's a good question, because it was originally announced 2017, and I don't expect it to come out before the holiday. I feel like this is a cross-gen game at this time. So if that's the case, then wow, it'd been set. It'll go 7 years. Since the announcement.
I know. Bayonetta 3 wasn't as long, but how long was Bayonetta 3? Because that took a while as well, from memory.
2018.
Yeah, 2018 Game Awards.
2017.
It was 2017. Yeah, it was, because it was at the Game Awards.
Yeah, 2017 to 2022. So
So even that, I mean, technically, what is that? 5 years then? So Metroid Prime 4. That might be the longest I've seen.
Bayonetta 3 at least had like a couple of trailers and stuff.
It did.
Of gameplay.
They took a while to show it though. Like, they didn't show it until 2021.
Yep.
Yeah, they showed it. The first time that they ever showed any gameplay of it was in the Nintendo Direct at September 2021, I think. I remember I was watching it like in 140p in Nigeria. So
I can't believe it's been that long, man. I do want to bring up the PlayStation VR 2.
What are we doing? What are we doing here, John? Get us out of here.
Yeah, we've got like 8 minutes. What are we doing?
Guys, the PSVR 2, okay?
What are these topics?
This is legitimately concerning for the PSVR 2, and I would just say VR in general. But like, the PSVR 2 holiday 2023 got absolutely obliterated by Quest 2 and Quest 3, and I have not really heard Sony talk about this thing in a while. And as an early day one investor, I want answers. Okay,
bro. Listen, if Sony doesn't continue talking about the numbers, something ain't going right. When everyone was saying, "Oh my, OJ, you're wrong about PS Portal. The numbers, look, it's sold out everywhere." Matt Piscatella talked about the numbers. Yeah, he said it's not any significant factor for MPD. It was last in terms of what was sold, and everybody shut the hell up. It's the same thing with this, man. Like, Sony.
But to me, the Portal just tethers off of the PS5, so it has support because it just plays PS5 games. We need PSVR 2 games from Sony. Like, we need Sony to make a game specifically for it at this time, because
I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, just in general, like, Sony, when it comes to some of their peripherals, man, or extra things, PSVR 1, it's not like they made a ton of stuff for that, right? I mean, it was successful, I guess, in relative terms.
Yeah,
I mean,
honestly,
you
5,000,000
units. I think
you got to bring down that
right?
expectation, though. Just hope that they put out PC drivers for it.
Well,
That's
that
about
would
it.
help. But at this time, we have now developers who are actively questioning if they could even move games to it. Like Rec Room can't justify the cost of PSVR 2 port, is what they are saying now.
And VR heavy companies are closing down for them. So.
They say we would love to bring Rec Room to PSVR 2, but we can't justify the cost based on the numbers.
what?
That's what they say. That's what they say. They can't bring Rec
It's doing
Room
so
to
bad.
PSVR 2.
The sales
this
are
was
so
January 24th. Yeah, we had the studio behind. They shut down and they actively blamed basically PSVR 2, saying it didn't.
From VR?
No. This is the sort of just general tactical shooter game.
Oh.
Yeah, they actively said we didn't get enough support from the PSVR 2. So
is it backwards compatible?
No.
What?
Nope.
Wow. No wonder it's doing horribly. What are they thinking?
Good question.
So I told MVG I was buying it day one.
The Firewall series.
And thank you, Firewall. Yeah, the developers there shut down. And I was like, I'm gonna buy this thing because I feel like Sony's they're gonna come through. And
What games are on it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah,
so this is the other problem. There's also no real advertising for games on the PSVR 2 at all.
When it was first getting launched, I putting it in the news wave. I had to look up all the trailers. There were some really cool looking ones that they just told no one about.
Yeah,
like, there was one called
game.
Behemoth, where it was basically Shadow of the Colossus in VR. Like you were fighting massive monsters in VR. It was like, oh, that's cool. I've never heard
it exclusive though. Can I play it on my Quest 2?
I don't know. I don't know anything. I saw like a 2-minute trailer of it. I was like, oh, this is really interesting, and never heard about it again.
There was a horror game because it can track your eye movement.
Yeah, and every time you blink, the whole thing changed. Oh, that one.
Things would
cool.
move around you, which was like, that's an interesting idea, right? I didn't really ever see anyone talk about it since then. So, Bulletstorm just came out, and that's basically the entirety of Bulletstorm, but in VR, which is okay. I mean, I like Bulletstorm, so that's fine. But I need the killer IP or the big game, and I don't see Sony doing it. And it's
Behemoth
very
is
weird.
Limited to PSVR for a while, but will come out later on others.
Okay, I don't see
From
the
Skydance.
movement from.
What
Okay,
should you
I don't see the
pay?
movement from Sony, and it's a little concerning. I'll admit, a little concerning.
How much did you pay for that headset?
I was
Just wondering.
$600.
Oh, cool.
Well, it was $550 for the headset, and then I also had to get Horizon Call of the Mountain because it's the
Okay.
one game we've gotten from Sony.
That's the only game that they've released.
So the best experience I've had in this headset was with Gran Turismo, and that was just a free update. I already had Gran Turismo, so there was that.
Oh, geez.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's,
They spent that whole
there was a
2-year
kayaking
run
game
up to
too.
it. Yeah.
Nate was like, "You got to check this out. It's so you just kayak around, which is fine."
Until you hit the invisible wall. You can't make
so
it
what
to
I
things.
did was, there's a ship out there that's like a sunken ship, and I'm like, you know what? There's something cool out there. So I go to the sunken ship, which by the way you have to paddle. So you got to picture me in the middle of this room with like
Just
the
flailing
this.
around.
So like I'm gonna get there, and eventually you just run into a wall and it pushes you back. So I never got to the sunken ship. You know what I play with the PSVR 2 right now? Tetris Effect.
It's a good game.
Sounds rad.
But you know what? Tetris Effect looks
best.
sick on the Switch OLED. Oh my god, it looks so good on the Switch OLED.
Does. I will say that with PSVR 2, it's pretty cool because when you complete a board, because you see it in like kind of like 3D space, right? When you complete a board, it pushes all the pieces past you and stuff, and it has like the haptics around your head. It's weird to me that's like the best experience that in Gran Turismo. It's Tetris and driving. Like that's it. So I don't know what the future of PSVR 2 looks like. It doesn't look good right now. That's all I know. So
They should just put out games. I feel like it could do better if they were just like,
That
Put
sounds
out
like a good
games.
concept, huh?
yeah.
here's my concern about that, Josie. They need to put games out. I'm really worried they're going to put Team Asobi on it. And I'm like, let them do Astro outside of VR, but they're probably going to do
Mm.
a VR game, and that's going to be their project for the last since the PS5 came out, last 3 or 4 years or whatever.
John, get us
Shout
out
out
of
to all
here.
the PSVR 2 people out there who bought in. Shout out to who bought in. Last thing, MVG, Suicide Squad codes.
Oh yeah.
Guess when they're going out?
No idea, because no
when
one
the
got
game
one.
releases.
That's a good sign.
The game is coming out, and that's when they're sending the code to
that's
to
when
IGN
you show that
others.
your confidence, John. Sorry to
Super
cut you off, but
super
I have to tell you,
healthy.
it's confidence.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? They want everybody to experience it at the same time because they're so confident. So they just that's the reason why there's no review codes going out.
I think they'll hold off the
My opinion.
microtransaction shop till after the reviews then drop and then put it back in.
That's the Activision. Is that the Activision or is
That's
what
like
is that?
almost
Is that-
everyone at this
Yeah,
point.
that's almost every, yeah.
Yeah. Sony
Did they formally announce that they weren't sending out?
They said said actively IGN's not even getting one, and then
IGN put a statement out.
Yeah,
and then so they I think the excuse was that they're not going to turn the servers on until day one, but we all played in the alpha, so I don't know what they're talking about with that. So
yeah,
I feel like they know what's about to happen when people get this game, like reviewers. So if reviewers got it too early, I mean, I feel like they know this game's starting out in a bad spot because we all played it. They lifted the embargo on the alpha build thinking it was going to be positive, and then everyone just crushed it further because it's just, I can't believe Rocksteady did this for 7 years. My gosh, are you serious?
So they saw that Destiny money, man. Back in the day, they saw that Destiny money. Not back in the day, but back in, whatever. They were like, oh man, look at that. We can do that. It'll just take us a decade.
It's gonna feel weird, right? It's like the idea that massive ships in the ocean, if they see like a large thing that they might hit on the horizon that's already too late, like that's got to be the feeling for them working on this. It's just like, well, shit. Here we go.
Some of the game is good, like quality wise, in terms of cutscenes. The story seems interesting, but man, the gameplay is just I feel like it's getting boring very fast.
It looks high quality in terms of like the cutscenes and like the effects and like the shooting. All that seems like, I think there's going to be people that do enjoy it, but just like it's the structure that just kind of kills it,
Well,
like
look out.
Do you want to play as Joker grinding with the umbrella? I mean, I'm not sure if I want to play as Joker grinding with an umbrella and Harley Quinn with the swinging around like Spider-Man almost. Like, I'm just not sure if that's what people wanted with those characters,
Yeah, well, look out for the Suicide Squad.
And Joker looks trash too in that one. Kind of the new Joker.
They also have early access. By the way, they have early access this week as well, ahead of release. And I think what's going to happen are different outlets are just going to buy in and do early access. So they're going to get in early access to play the game before review codes.
Gotta get their sales somehow.
So this sounds like a bad. I would wait for reviews for this game. Everyone out there who's listening, I would wait, see how it goes.
Question. Wait, when does this game release?
Next week. Is it next week?
It's
Next
this week
week?
coming. This week coming up, it'll be out. I believe it releases on the 2nd for Friday, but then it comes out 3 days early with the big digital deluxe $100-some-odd version.
If they're anticipating it to not be reviewed well, something fun to do is keep an eye out for the accolades, like marketing that's after, because that's really fun to read the cherry picks.
Oh, right, where they grab a sentence of like,
yeah, it'll be like wonderful, and it was like
I had the most fun until the story began or something.
Yeah, and it's like had the most fun. So if it's going to be that colossal disappointment, I'm curious what they're going to do with that.
I got this game game high 60s, low 70s territory, Metacritic wise.
70 would be a dub at this point, honestly.
Yeah, I'm thinking I think the story and the cinematics, that stuff will get
that would
like that.
To be honest, that'd be a dub. If it got in the low 70s, that would be a positive thing based on what people have said so far. So I'm hoping for the team just because I actually love Rocksteady, and I'm hoping this doesn't crush them and we see more layoffs and we see more problems. So I'm hoping this isn't turning out like towards nobody gets the game at all,
The founders at Rocksteady did leave and go make a new studio, and they actually took like old Rocksteady developers with them. So they formed a new studio. We'll see what they come up with in like 4 or 5 years. Let me go through some of the super chats here to finish up. Casual Noob Gamer says somebody going to be sleeping on the live action couch. Silver Strike says thoughts on the Silent Hill 2 remake. Think they will do 3. Well, we still got to see the Silent Hill 2
see.
remake, don't we?
We'll see how 2 turns out and how well it is received and how well it sells.
Hey, where's that State of Play is coming up, right? There you go. Getting Stuff Done says, I'm closing on a house now and crying, and then a bunch of dollar signs. Yeah.
Bro, I don't even want to say how much my down payment was. I'm not even gonna say it.
Frank says chances of Smash DLC on Switch online expansion
0.
No.
Yeah.
No.
1%. 1%.
Hopeful.
Lude says you will own nothing and will be happy sooner or later. This is bound to happen. We are all living in it. Just look at EV cars manufacturers for starter. Binru says, non-gaming question. If you folks eat steaks, how do you cook or have it served? I'm cooking mine medium rare to medium well. This seems like an MVG question.
I like medium well. That's kind of where I like to sit.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll do a medium, depending on how I'm feeling. But generally speaking, I'll do medium well on my steaks.
He's got like the food channel going on over there sometimes on Twitter. So
Steaks are made.
Steaks are made.
When the summer kicks in, he's dropping all the.
Can't wait to fire up the grill during springtime. I'm so excited.
John says, I think that at one of the first games unveiled for the Switch 2 is going to be a remake of Ocarina of Time.
That'd be sick.
Okay.
Oh, I love that.
It's not
Jorge
happening now.
says,
Y'all jinxed it.
Wait, I saw it on a Nintendo Prime video.
Yeah,
There it
pretty
is.
sure it's confirmed.
Jorge says, would
Rumors, guys.
Bandai,
The rumor believability scale. You got to remember the rumor believability scale.
would Bandai bring over the netcode system from Tekken to Smash if they develop again? Like if they reboot the series for Smash? Would netcode be a focus then for OJ if they rebooted Smash?
Nintendo doesn't give a shit about the online.
I definitely think it would be part of it, but Smash plays so much different than Tekken in terms of like how it plays. So I don't think it's like a copy and paste.
Nintendo says, Celia, when are we getting Mina the Howler soon?
Follower, and I don't know either. It's still really deep in development. Once we get closer, we'll start like making more noise about it. But until then, your guess is as good as mine. But what we have so far is really awesome. I can't wait.
South Coast says Gundam Seed Freedom is out in Japan and it has 750 million yen on its second day of box office. What is a series from the 2000s that would be a great revival? What's a series from the 2000s, Evan, that would be a good revival?
From the 2000s.
Something weird. You know all the weird animes.
I want them to do a second season of Grimgar. That ended so well.
Oh, see?
And I just want it to keep going.
G-Man says, does John believe in the Xbox tax? Tell the truth.
I do.
No, I don't. I don't believe in the Xbox tax.
I do.
Do you believe in the Xbox tax, MVG?
Yeah, whatever you think Hellblade's going to get Metacritic, take 5 points off of that.
65.
Whatever you think, Avowed's going to get, knock off another 5 to 10.
I mean, it's definitely Xbox tax. In Maryland, it's like 6 or 7%.
I believe in it. I believe in the Xbox tax, and it's doubly bad in California. The tax here is terrible. Terrible.
It's true.
We'll see with Indiana Jones. How about that? We'll see.
You know how much state tax you get in Nevada? 0.
Yeah,
Man.
I know.
There it is.
I'm thinking MVG. I'm planning my course.
Hey, if the Niners get in, are you coming down?
Possibly. I'm still reeling from my house purchase.
Cost.
I'm still reeling from my house purchase and my remodeling. So yeah, like I'm going on top ramen diet. So I mean, I've been on the top ramen diet if I even eat. So
let me go around here as we finish up. Celia, thanks for joining us tonight. Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, sure. So for personal, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Celia B with 3 E's, and on Instagram, I'm Kosher Gamer. And then work stuff, I'm at Yacht Club Games on everything.
There you go. You got Mina the Howler coming up at some point, so it looks good.
Yeah, I know it's so good. Every time I get to check out the game or like the team shares like what else we're working on, like I get so excited. So everyone, please be patient.
I should have asked this. Are you guys going to too many games at all?
So too many games, no. Like if we were to, it would be me, but we'd have to have like a reason, like if we're like doing a panel or we're promoting. But too many games always lands on my birthday, so I'm busy.
Okay. We're making Sean go out this year. That's what I was asking.
Oh, bummer. Is he gonna go to PAX East? No, he's never goes outside.
No.
Oh, you know, it took us.
I'm still
like
not
5
convinced
years
he's
get
going
back
to too many games. I'm still not convinced.
No, he has to. He has to. He has to. Yeah, he's locked in at this point.
We're gonna be there. He's gonna call us and be like, guys, I couldn't.
He has to now. He's locked in. He's locked in. But yeah, check out Celia. Got her link down below in the description. So let me go over to MVG. Where can I find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Modern Vintage G and YouTube Modern Vintage Game. I have a video out today about the PlayStation 5 jailbreak scene that's going on right now, which is interesting. I'll have another video out next week. I'm not sure what day it is, but it will be out next week. And thank you for having me on, as always.
Yeah, I saw the PS5 jailbreak. Interesting stuff over there. Had to break out the PS5 from the closet that got stored away day one.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go over to Josie. Where can I find you?
Find me on YouTube at Josie Woe. I took a little bit of a break, but I will be back February 1st. I have some banger videos. So thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, check out Josie. She's working her way up the subs there on her channel.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get to what's the goal? What's the goal for this year? What's the goal for 2024, Josie?
I don't know. 20K maybe. That'd be cool.
World domination. You want to get that LA? You want to move into that LA creator mansion?
The hype house.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what you want to do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
John Liam was saying, tell John if you got Streamlabs.
I do. I have it right here. Streamlabs. I was going to go to that next. This is from Liam. It says, do you guys think we're still going to get Twilight Princess and Wind Waker at this point?
No.
I do.
Happening.
On the Switch too.
Nope.
I think it's on the current Switch. And I think it's gonna be like that Luigi's Mansion situation where they showed that for the 3DS and everyone's like, why? No, I kind of feel like we'll see that collection on the Switch. Maybe then the direct coming up in a couple weeks. So fits into the remaster.
Wait, there's a direct coming up in a couple of weeks?
Is there?
That's what Nate's talking about.
I don't know. Maybe.
Nate's being real cheeky about it, but I'm pretty sure you can see that on the Game and Talk podcast.
Oh, okay. There it is. See, you follow up from here and go to there. There you go. I think there was like an after show you guys talked about it too. Man,
Patreon.
Crazy over there.
Check it out.
What about OJ? Where can I find you?
Yeah, find me right here on YouTube. I stream a lot and talk about RPG games and Nintendo games. So if you're into stuff like Grand Blue Fantasy, got stuff that I'm doing on that, Persona 3 Reload as well.
Another one coming up.
Yeah, Grand Blue Fantasy. It's freaking awesome. I played the demo. Yeah, it's really good. So I'll be covering that. So if you're into RPGs, I do a lot of collection videos too, like Switch top lists and stuff like that. And but I stream pretty much every day. We have a lot of cool interactive streams. So yeah, just check me out. Player Essence on YouTube here. So thanks for having me on, John. I appreciate it.
When is that Grand Blue game out? I feel like I looked at it.
It's out Sunday. It's out Sunday it's out. Well, you'll be able to get it Sunday if you have the pre-order. I think it's the 29th. So tomorrow's Sunday. Yeah, no, that's the 28th. So it'll be out like the 28th/29th, depending on like where you live or whatever, like unlock like midnight or whatever. So it'll be out then. So you can check out. I'll be doing some Grand Blue Fantasy stuff, probably streaming it. This game took like 7 years to make. Like it was like a whole thing to make this game, and it shows. I mean, it's a PS4 game.
Good.
Yeah, that they ported over to PS5, but it's still super clean. It's coming to PC too, so PS4, PS5, and PC. So yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out. So I'll have stuff on that and more RPG stuff and more Nintendo stuff.
Evan, where can I find you?
You can find me over at Kimmerix Project on YouTube or pretty much anywhere. We usually talk about tabletop games, hang out. Sometimes we stream during the weeks, Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, and just talk random crap.
Hey, your tabletop channel's on the move too, right?
Yeah, working our way towards 5,000 subscribers. It's fun.
Wow. Okay. Check out Evan. Definitely good stuff. Then Emery Benson says what the Switch successor really needs is a new Star Fox and F-Zero. New Star Fox is pretty awesome.
Not wrong. I like both of those.
Got everything at Streamlabs. We're good there. Yep. Okay. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I don't think there's an after show because Sean is watching the Royal Rumble, so I guess he'll be back next week for something. With an after show there. But thanks everyone for joining us for Spawncast. We'll be back next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you guys then.